You are now listening to Nerd Rage Radio with Bobby Skullface and Adam Russman. This podcast is intended for mature audiences only and may not fit with your sensitive sensibilities. You may be a victim of meaningless outrage, or you may, in fact, be a big ninny pants. If this is the case, please feel free to turn it off now. This is no country for ninny McNinny pants. So crack open the Mountain Dew. Make sure the cheese doodles are super fresh. We're in your mother's basement. It's Nerd Rage Radio.
And welcome to episode 153 of Nerd Rage Radio with your host, Adam Russman, Joe KW, and Bobby Skullface. So every week I try to mix up the intros of whose name we say first, and I think I do a good job of it, but right when I start, and then I choose a second person, I'm like, hold on, this sounds familiar. Did I do this last week? Fuck!
Like, I wouldn't stress it.
I know. I don't really care. But like, at the same time, like you have a goal to do something, you want to see that shit through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You've done it 153 times, though.
At least. No, probably more. Probably a lot.
Probably
more.
Well, all the ones we lost, so.
Yeah. In the
Plus
bonus tracks,
stuff,
the fucking, any of the movie shit. Well, I feel like we haven't done a movie one in a while.
I know. I was saying the same thing.
Yeah.
We should do. I mean, I'm down. I'm definitely 100% down.
Yeah, of course. So last week was a clusterfuck of a show. We had a really great vibe going on.
And it was a really great show. Like the back half of it was really good.
Yeah, but the front half was really good.
Yeah.
Was better.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's better because you'll never be able to confirm that. So in my mind, in my memory,
Right.
100% better. It's also on the Patreon. Just joking. It's not on the Patreon. But if you're interested in supporting us on Patreon, that would be greatly,
Greatly.
Yeah, greatly appreciated because we're going to buy a new Mac because this one is trash.
Yeah, I was going to talk to you. I got to talk to you about that too.
The wife wants us to buy it from the folks downtown because every time we go there, they hook us up for basically free. And I was like to fix something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing I was going to talk about. I mean, we don't need to waste time on the show.
How do we?
Is
Maybe they want to know.
maybe doing a laptop
Push one if you wanna know.
instead of a Mac Mini, so we can get rid of the big TV in my room.
That's true. I kind of like the big TV though.
I know, but you don't have to live with it. It would drive you nuts. I have so much to talk about.
Do
Nerd
you?
Week. So much.
Well, yeah.
But
you should go last. You should go last.
I'm willing to save for last.
You need to go last.
Because you lost the first half of the second half.
Yes. So now I have
So
the
it's
first
the
half and the
full-
second half.
full.
Yeah, it's fine. So let's start with Joe.
Oh, I actually did.
You should go first,
I
Joe.
watched and listened to a lot of stuff in the past 2 weeks, actually, for once. Watched the Jim Jeffries new special. Fucking good. Still love that guy.
What is that on?
Netflix.
Netflix?
Of course. Why do you even ask?
Oh, I mean,
do you ask?
Sometimes HBO specials.
That's
I hear you.
Hulu stuff too.
No, I hear you. I'm just being funny.
I got on after I finished Wild Wild Country. I got on a fucking cult documentary kick.
Because you want to start your own cult.
No,
Come on, Joe.
You know what
Joe.
I wonder? I wonder
Joe.
if these cult leaders are special people that could have done something good for society because they are so
Who
charismatic,
says
I
they're
think
not?
so.
Who says
Or-
they're not?
or they have just found a bunch of real fucking dumb people, or both.
Yeah,
There was that.
come.
I think you told me about it. There's that one guy that was like an Indian dude, and he went to some small Midwest town. It was like an
Oh, yeah,
experiment.
the fake guru.
Like, yeah, he purposely was a fake guru to show people they're full of shit, but then he kind of got into it himself.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, shit. I kinda
Yeah,
like this.
I can see that happening.
Yeah.
I can easily see that
I mean,
happening.
power corrupts.
I mean, it's like the cult
No,
leading guys.
but I mean, like, I can see, like, you saying, like, I'm going to go and I'm going to disguise myself as a pastor, but I'm going to live it method acting for the next 2 months. But then at the end of the 2 months, you're like, fuck, like, this shit does feel real to me. Like,
Yeah.
You know, or not to say, I'm just using pastor as an example, a rabbi, whatever the fuck.
Yeah. Ixnay on Uj. Never mind.
I watched
You carry the two.
Yeah, I'm still working it out.
Holy Hell, which is another
A bit of a
Another
paradox,
cult?
isn't it?
other cult documentary. Except this guy was fucking all the dudes.
Oh.
Yeah, not letting the dudes have a relationship with the women who were also in the group. It was interesting. He was like he was a out of work actor basically. He was like in one movie for one scene, and he wanted to be an actor, but never panned out, and then started this fucking cult. And watched the Mormon one, the polygamous Mormon one, with the guy he's still the leader is still in jail, but he's still leading the cult.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
was
yeah.
fucking all the girls
Like the 14-year-old kids that
and,
got pregnant.
and tell everyone they can all have fuck everybody they want to, including the kids.
That's crazy.
And I just started the Waco one this morning.
So why is a cult always about sex? And why is that shit only in America? Is it because we're so sexually repressed?
I don't know
here?
if it's only in America. I mean, we only hear about the American ones, but maybe there's cults everywhere.
I mean, like you think like that Indian cult, the Wild Wild Country, it was performing in India forever with like not any problem, right? And it wasn't until they got to America that it went fucking sideways.
I think that it's I think that a lot of times it's it's the power thing. Like once you have the power, then you might as well get the pussy.
well, first you get the money,
then you get the power.
then you get the power.
And once you get the power, you get the motherfucking respect.
That's right.
But I think that once you start down that path, forever will it dominate your destiny.
Damn it, you beat me too.
And it's like shit, man. Like these guys just took my trash out. I bet you I could fuck them.
But that guy in the Wild Wild Country, no one talked about him being a sexual deviant. Everyone, he was just sex positive. Everyone can fuck whoever they want.
Yeah,
and everyone
yeah.
did.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
Yeah.
There was no molestation
I
or
don't
anything
think
in that sense.
And I don't think it has to happen. I mean, I think that's why Japan has so much weird sexual shit. Is because they're sexually repressed as a culture.
Are they?
Yeah,
I think
they're very
It's
conservative.
both. It's conservative, yet they have the wildest porn. So,
But I think that one is because of the other.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, I think that we're sexually repressed.
Right,
We are.
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's okay for Arnold Schwarzenegger to mow down 20 cops in a movie, and that'll be on TBS, no problem.
Yeah.
But you can't show a nipple. Get
God,
it.
But at the
outta
same
here.
time, it's promoted though. But sex is promoted, yet looked down upon at the same time, which I don't understand.
Well, it's promoted because it sells. So, but a lot of times it's
But it's culturally accepted.
But
that you
it's
sell sex.
it's subtle. It's subliminal.
And it's
You
not.
know.
It's not.
Subliminal.
Procreate.
I don't think it's
sometimes-
always subliminal, but I think that
Sometimes.
even when it's not subliminal, it's not seen as acceptable. It becomes mainstream only because it sells, regardless of whether or not people think it's acceptable or not. I mean, the same Bible pumping, thumping church guy is like, oh, that filth. The Bible but like he's like that filth, flaring filth, and then he goes and buys it on the way home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that if you have a video with some girl, like Justify My Love, you know what I mean? Like just erotica. I think it was on the erotic album, or maybe it was on the Vogue album. Doesn't matter. I think it sold well, but the video was banned from MTV and all that other shit. And I think it was banned from MTV because of the lesbian stuff. Which you know what I mean? Which is like
How many ads involve scantily clad women?
yes, but it's
but
still
it
not
had-
accepted. It's not
Yeah.
like it's not like you could have it at home on your refrigerator if you had like your book reading party.
Yeah.
It's
But
got-
you
it's
turn on
got
the
more-
TV, it's on in every channel.
It's definitely got more aggressive
That's
in the
why it's weird
last
to me.
in the last 10 years.
I agree with that as
Yeah.
well.
So anyway, continue, Joseph.
Watched all 3 Resident Evil CG movies. I like them.
Oh, okay, like based off the original video games.
Uh,
At first, I thought you were talking about the action
action
movies. I'm
movies?
like, why?
no, we
Why
went
would
through.
you? Why would you do that to
Just
yourself?
because Kristen never watched it. Like last year, a couple years ago, we watched all 7 of them.
Yeah,
in a
you guys
row.
just like getting together and watching bad movies in a
I mean,
row.
when we eat dinner,
What do you guys do?
attention on-
It's like on your like dating profiles.
no, it's just shelters. I show her everything. Like I have to show her Demolition Man because I just found out she hasn't watched Demolition Man.
Did you guys go immediately to Taco Bell? Yeah. Every time I watch a movie, I'm like, dude, I could go for Taco Bell.
Yeah,
right
right.
now.
Right? And I still wonder how the fucking 3 shells work.
Oh, I can show you.
So yeah.
Dude, I wish there was a wink sound for the podcast. Ding.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
if we ever get the soundboard,
I know.
Yeah.
Thanks
Actually-
to our Patreon
Actually,
users.
Manny has a way for us to do it.
Let's
with-
get Manny down
I
here.
know. That's why I
goddammit.
said it. But Manny sends me all of this information.
Yeah.
Like all of this information. Like
Yeah.
how to do this, how to do that with this stuff specifically.
oh,
Yeah.
that we already have.
Yeah. And I'm like, dude, I
don't speak Japanese.
I can't watch, like, I try, but like every time I try to, like, he sends me like, there's like one like 20, 40-minute video or some shit of like breaking down what everything does. And like I start watching it, I'm like,
We need a sound tech.
yeah, I need somebody that's willing to absorb
If
information.
there's a sound tech in the Frederick area, you will have so many comic books to read on the side. That's all we can pay with you, and you can't really bend them. Like bend the bindings too hard. You have to be very gentle. Make sure your hands are clean. You gotta put them back in alphabetical order, but as many as you can read.
As many as you can read.
Yeah, that's
Dude,
right.
it'll take forever to read. all these.
Gently.
Oh, did you see the
gently read.
details raised? You didn't know?
I did not perceive that. Well, I did no. Actually, I did notice something was different here, and I couldn't put my finger on it because I was like, "Why does Luke look so high?" And I was like, did he just move him
Stone,
around?
bro.
He
Fucking badass.
high on the
Peter.
force.
Yeah, high on the force.
They look good.
Thanks.
The last one, the newest one, the Resident Evil CG movies.
Yeah.
The action is fucking
Good.
good and really good. I mean,
Is
if
that
you
the
like
one
John
like
Wick
based
type
off
movie,
of like CG? It's like number 5, based off of.
no, I
Resident
mean
Evil 5?
they're not based off of the game. They take place in the same world. They take place like in between the games or after the games. So they're original stories.
Gotcha. I'll have to check those out.
So at least the last one. Like if you like John Wick, you just like to watch cool action.
Yeah.
The last one is pretty fucking good.
What if you don't?
Then don't bother. Unless you like
I
Star Wars.
love it's one of my favorite things in the world when people are like, dude, you should check out such and such. I'm like, really? Like, yeah, I mean, do you love like hot chicks that like do such and such and have like guns and then I'm like, no. And they're like, oh, well, never mind. You should,
Just give up.
Reg, you're wrong. The work's been quiet, so I've been reading manga.
Yeah.
I finished reading Knights of Sidonia, which is pretty good. I reread it actually. It's the same guy that made Blam on Netflix. And Knights of Sidonia is actually the anime series on Netflix.
What was Blam?
You watched it?
That orb? That orb?
It was a CG anime movie with a city like where the. I thought you watched it.
I probably did. I just need some. You need to,
the
help
city,
me out here.
the computers are trying to kill the people.
Okay. All right.
oh, Blam.
Yeah.
I did 2 toys from that Chris had, like the little like, synthetic walking
People.
dog
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. Okay.
Shit, even Bobby
Like
knows.
the city, dude, bro, so much.
And they have like little food packages.
Yeah.
Mouth noises.
You hate that
Dude,
shit.
what about that joke, man? That fucking when I was a kid, I didn't like the beer.
Oh my god. I did not see that fucking coming. I did not. I was because things has been like on and off kind of serious lately in the
I
past
know,
week. So
it's
I was
super
like,
serial. That's why I was like, I'm gonna get away with it. I'm gonna get away with it right now if I try.
dude, I fucking out in real life.
That dog?
is the best.
Yeah, he's the best.
He's your favorite, dude. When I feel like when you get it, when you're ever gonna get a dog again, you're gonna get one of those.
I'm not.
And you need to train him to do that, and then you can just point at him
Fucking
and he'll do that.
If
Fucking
you could
hate
do that,
dogs.
maybe.
Yeah.
Probably. I've read I Am Hero. It's a
It's
zombie manga.
It's broken English.
Sounds like there's a bit of a translation issue.
Oh, I am a hero. It's my problem.
It sounds like broken
I am
English.
a hero.
Okay.
The story about the characters and everything wraps up great, but it doesn't fucking answer any of the mysteries that was brought in the world.
Oh, I don't like that shit.
No, I mean for people who just like character development is great, but I like to know what happens.
I thought it was about a differently abled gentleman
He
that ran around saying, "I am hero."
What if there was like a for real
No,
like
no.
handyman? Remember handyman?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely,
But
of
it
course.
had like super duper retard. Pause.
You might want to.
Pause.
No, it's
no,
fine.
no. Like I was gonna say like incredible powers.
Right.
You know, like like so powerful it's not even entertaining.
There's this guy I know named Big Mike, and he always swings by on Mondays at the job. Like he just loves mopping.
Yeah, and he swings because it's a huge hog.
Problem, he's got to have. I mean, the type of dude's got his pants on crooked. You know what I'm talking about? And he's an autistic gentleman, but he can draw, so trade off. And he's actually like he's a delight. Like I love him to death, and like he comes in faithfully. Like he's like has like tons of questions and stuff. But he always wants to know. He always
Like
wants.
Steve Perry.
Here's the thing. He loves dogs. Loves dogs. Like he loves talking about dogs. Can tell you all the different types of dogs.
Yeah.
He can also say like give me give me a number between 1 and 45. And then you say a number, and then he's like Grover Cleveland. Like he like knows all the presidents in
yeah.
correlation, which is just cool.
Yeah.
And some people like avoid him or whatever. But like I fuck with him. We sit down and talk. Not too much because he gets on a tangent. It's like I don't need to hear about the beagle, but so much. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he always
Or
asks,
the bugle.
As soon as he runs into me, he says, "How's Smeagol?" And I'm like, but this week he didn't.
He knows.
I'm like, dude, like you might be in touch with some energy
man.
in
Dog-
dog world.
Like it's just interesting,
Dude. Like so my ongoing theory now of existence and consciousness is that we're all the same consciousness. Like time doesn't exist. We just interpret it at different times, right? So at one point you'll experience my life, and I'll experience your life, and you'll experience everybody you love, and you'll experience everybody you hate. But then every once in a while you'll be Big Mike. So treat people well.
I agree. I
Treat
agree with
people
that.
well.
I'm gonna get into that a bit.
Yeah.
In a minute.
Just wait your fucking turn.
Of course.
All right.
And
Continue.
lastly, it was funny you said it because the first time that the main character of this says "I am a hero," he's like running away and saying "I'm a hero" at the same time, and he's like he comes off as autistic in the beginning for sure.
Differently abled.
Differently abled. He's like a recluse because he talks to himself.
Like a brown recluse.
Dangerous creatures.
Yellow.
Dangerous creatures.
Yellow
Dude,
recluse.
they're not playing.
It's in Tokyo.
Oh yeah. Well, I was.
Dude, why do you he's talking about the Spider-Man.
I'm talking about the Spider.
No,
This is why we want to sit on the side of the table.
We're on the not racist side, Joe.
Asian people ain't racist. Oh, fuck, man. Jesus.
That is true.
the
Says Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last thing I did was I caught up on My Hero Academia, which is fucking great. Like, I never understood people's love of Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know of Superman. Maybe I just haven't read enough of him.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, if you don't love him, you have not read enough.
But if you see Superman the way I see All Might, I completely understand why he's such an idolized figure.
Is that My Hero Academy or whatever?
Yeah. Then I understand. Like at episode 49, I'm like, oh, I get it.
I started watching that, but it's not. Is it dubbed yet?
Yeah, it is dubbed.
I gotta go back and watch
It
that
is
one.
dubbed, like-
Oh, you know why? Because I was watching it on your whatever the fuck you gave me, and it got
Crunchyroll,
disconnected.
Okay,
yeah,
I need to give you
yeah.
the password. But it's
Made it happen.
it's fucking good. It's one of my favorite anime in a long time. Since Gurren Lagann, I haven't had one that like really got me. Like
Okay.
this.
All right, I was enjoying it. I gotta get back on that.
I forgot my password to this thing at work. Grim login. You know what I mean?
You almost look like him, which is really fucked up. Which is really fucked up.
We're just gonna see that face.
All right, so I guess we're wrapping in last week's as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Yeah,
so
that's why
my
I
wife
guess
and
I
I,
should.
my wife and I watched Glow. We finished Glow, Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling season 2. One of the best character-driven shows I think I've seen from Netflix. Like every one of those characters, no matter how wild they are, is fucking interesting. And like I'm really digging it. It was enjoyable. It was just something that was fun to look forward to watch with my wife. A lot less titty this season, which always happens. First season of Netflix, titty everywhere.
That's how to get you.
Season 2, no titty.
You know how I feel about that.
Oh, how do you feel about that?
Give me the wiener.
Like wiener.
I don't care about seeing boobs on TV. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not like, ooh, gross. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, cool. But when a wiener pops up on TV, it's always a laugh for me. So like,
Sure it is. So,
give me the entertainment.
speaking of wieners,
Mm-hmm.
I listened to Joe Rogan podcast. Did you listen to that one
listened to a
Asian
few.
female?
That's one I'm on.
Whether she
now.
was like the
I
neurosexologist,
wish he
whatever.
talked more. He talked over, not over. He
You
talked
know
a
what?
lot in
That was a
episode.
bad. That was a bad episode. Like he did a bad. I think he was feeling her, bro.
Or he was like, I don't know, too much weed or too little weed or something.
I don't know what it
He
was, man.
talked a lot.
I think that like he was. I don't want to put things in words in anybody's mouth, but I think he was like kind of like smitten with her, and it was interrupting his normal interviewing flow.
Because he hasn't done that in a while where he just
He
talks over
hasn't.
the person.
He hasn't. But anyway, there is this sexual preference, and I can't remember the name of it because it's fucking long as fuck. But it's dudes who like chicks with dicks.
Oh, really?
It is like a proper. It is a proper thing, just like homosexual or heterosexual. It is like
But is it like dudes who only like chicks with dicks?
yes.
But like that's not me and Bobby though.
Right.
I'm not. Hey, dude, who's
Well,
who's
you
casting
were-
this?
You were kind of looking.
It was coming across that way. I didn't necessarily take it that way.
You guys are reading into things.
Yeah, but it was.
I know you're interested in the subject matter. I wanted to share the information.
I'd like to say this. I'm not interested.
But I almost stopped and like played it back until I write it down just so I could say it because it's a fucking awesome name. I gotta look it up now. I'll look it up later. Anyway, but it was a pretty good. That part was pretty interesting. It was also, she talked about sexual stuff as well as some of the, some of the feminist stuff that's going on, and like just the issues and
that shit is going too far. But hopefully swinging back the other way.
Yeah, and you know what it comes down to, man? I just think that people are so distracted by modern life, they're just no longer educated, right? And what I mean by that is like, yeah, you can be educated on how to operate this fucking mixer in front of us that's got 1,000 buttons on it.
I am not, because I have the attention span of a raccoon.
Yes, but that's the problem. It's like back in the day, you would study complex, if you were educated, you would study complex ideas and critical thinking and reason and like understand nuance and just grammar, like specific in your speech and how you write. And nowadays it's fucking emojis. And I just think that we are kind of dumbing down. It's like that George Jetson just pushing the button, and like we're having trouble having complex, even saying the word complex, having trouble with that. Having trouble, with complex conversations, And it's funny, man. Having like a little drama at work here recently, and I don't want to give too much away, but basically, I'm like the third party trying to arbitrate this argument between a supervisor and their subordinate, and neither of them are actually listening to what the other person says. It's crazy. I'm like, I gotta be like, time out. Listen, he's not saying that. He's saying X, Y, Z. Correct? Yes. And I look at the other person. He's not saying that. He's saying ABC. Is that right? Yes. Okay. Continue.
That's like couples therapy.
Dude, that's what it is. They're like an old married couple.
People put up walls, man, and you don't, once you have a preconceived notion, you don't fucking listen as well as you should. You got to really consciously open your mind and listen to the other person.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
It's like people can have complex thoughts, but they just refuse to share them properly.
Well, they can have complex thoughts. I just don't think they can articulate them very, very well, nor can they receive other people's articulation.
Who's the best listener in your life?
The best listener.
The person that you're like, man, like when I speak, that individual
probably you
is really listening to
probably
me.
You.
That's I take that.
Yeah.
That means a lot to me.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like, because there aren't many people.
You are a good listener.
That's a nice thing to say.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure how to act. I got to get you and Smelter together. And like, and have you both say something nice and complimentary at the same time, and then I'm just like,
we're gonna stand around you, give you a big hug at the same time. We'll both whisper something into your ear.
Yeah, I think Joe is mine. Like there's been times where I've been talking, and sometimes it's about nonsense, and I look up and I'm like, holy shit, he's actually listening. Like, I got to make this mean something.
I was just talking nonsense.
I was just talking to talk. I'm not actually gonna fuck the fan filter.
Extra circumcision. So it was a good podcast. But
did you listen to the one with the captive Somalian pirate one?
I
Dude,
just
you should
finished
listen to
that
that, Bobby, because the whole time I was thinking, look at me.
I
am
thinking you doing it, but not the movie guy doing it.
That was an interesting one too.
Dude, he was in fucking Somalian pirate captivity for 2 years and
2.5
months.
Yeah, was it 2
years and 8
okay.
months?
I was
Man.
in 2.5 years.
Fucking
Doesn't run it
ridiculous.
down. Press the right rules. But
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, listen, it's only an hour and 20 minutes. I think
You know how he got saved?
How?
He did.
Jesus?
Yes, Jesus. Jesus actually just showed the fuck up.
I thought he was saved.
This is not going to happen. His mom actually raised $1.6 million
to get him out.
Wow.
I'm like, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
I'm fucked. My dad be like, put the house up on the second mortgage?
No. Me and Bobby would be like, for $20 a month, we can get Adam out of captivity in 20 years.
The parameters of the GoFundMe have just changed.
Yeah.
I mean, of the Patreon.
Yeah.
Shit. Hate when I fuck up a joke.
Anyway, but that was
fucking
pretty
interesting.
Yeah, it was good. On 40K news, I got the new terrain.
Yeah, that shit, dude. That shit to me is like, you know, when you're a kid and you're talking about people looking at the original Optimus Prime, and then they think they see MP10.
Yeah.
It was me looking at the cardboard terrain in 2nd edition, and this is what I saw. It's fucking.
Except it's amazing and it's not cardboard.
No, you're right. Yeah, no, I'm following. No, I'm following.
It's fucking with it. But like, I spent all weekend fucking around with that shit. Like, my fingers were worked to the bone. So the club came together, and actually everybody chipped in, and it's funny. So I have an analogy for you.
Okay.
All right. So you pay taxes,
Yeah, I do.
and the government takes that money and builds a road, which
Okay.
you use.
Yes.
Does
Hopefully,
the road
yeah.
belong to you?
No.
Yeah, it belongs to
Everyone.
the government.
What?
It belongs.
I
to the
guess
government.
so.
It's
Yeah.
government property.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the idea. If the government works it, builds it for you, you don't have to worry about it yourself. You just show up on the road and use it when you want to, and then you leave.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. I know what you're saying, and I get it.
It's similar.
But it would be like if the road kept getting fixed out of his neighborhood.
no,
Like, what about my driveway?
they do that too. No, but there's a new road to Joe's house. Not that you would ever use it.
That's also true.
Once a year.
Once a year.
Everybody gets one. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I did.
Do you paint anything else 40K other than the terrain, or just absorbed?
No, I didn't paint.
Dude,
I didn't
so-
paint any terrain yet.
So
It's been building.
how do I put
My
this?
thumb.
So
These hands.
everyone
Used to be so
everyone showed up
strong,
other than me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I was waiting for you. But you need to come over and check it. It's
I want to,
dude, like,
I want to play a game with you, bro.
yeah.
I'm in it
Okay.
for horse heresy. Even
You're in it to win
I want
it.
to.
then.
I want to play
You're in it to win it.
a game of 30K. with you.
What she just said, I want to play a game with you, bro. And like all of a sudden, Jigsaw came.
Dude,
Fucked up.
I would have screamed like a girl. I'd be like,
Dude, one of your glasses is filled with yak blood. Or no, one of your glasses is filled with the blood of a three-toed sloth.
not as cool as I thought. Dude, like, it is funny when you have those situations when you're completely shocked and like you figure out what your like go-to is. Like, are you a screamer? Are you like, whatever? And I'm like, what the fuck? That's it. That's my, you jump out and scare me. It's going to be what the fuck. If I see a werewolf or an alien, it's going to be what the fuck. So,
Yeah.
what's yours?
I think I'm
I had you as a holy shit type of guy.
I might be a holy shit guy. I had to ask my wife's been scaring the shit out of me recently. She's creeping up on me.
Bizarre.
I guess like a fun bit, like she'll like I'm like working in the basement on a diorama and she'll like sneak down like a fucking ninja, and then like I'll turn around, she's right there. I'm like, holy. And I might, and I might be a holy fuck guy. I might be a holy fuck.
I miss the Chinese Ninja Warrior.
Oh yeah, true. I've been scaring my wife like this for years. Her insurance policy is all paid up, so I'm just waiting for the heart attack, natural causes. No, like I'm cruel. I'm like,
Has she not been desensitized?
I mean, I like snuck into the house and like hid behind the shower curtain.
Oh, you've
No.
done a faux rape too?
No,
Oh, me neither.
36 years, still haven't raped anybody.
yeah,
No, I still haven't.
Okay.
38 got you beat. Anyway,
You're welcome.
just like and she like jumped up in midair and did a 180. Oh yeah, that was a while back. But like I'm always sneaking around the house, like always. I'm super quiet. Just grab her.
Yeah, I like a little mask. Like
I told you about my buddy who did that, right?
No. Oh yeah.
We did? Did you hear about that podcast?
I don't know.
All right, I'll tell the story. It's an interesting story. I had this girl, I was dating her, like everything was going well, and like one day she was like, "What are your clothes sizes?" And he's like, "Oh, that's weird." Gave him like 34s, and large shirt or whatever. And she showed up with like this duffel bag full of like blacked out shoes, socks, pants, turtleneck, gloves, mask, and rope. And was like, "I want you to sneak in my house one time wearing this and tie me up and
Have your
sex,
way.
and have sex with me."
Sounds fun.
I know you would think so.
Oh, okay.
So he
Is
showed
it
up.
not fun?
I'm in.
Okay.
He
So
sho-
we are on the same.
Oh yeah.
In
I think you and I
area.
are both sexual deviants.
Yes.
He showed up, left, couldn't do it. Then showed up again and ended up breaking up with her for it. I was like, "Hey, give it a try."
Yeah. Yeah, look, let me tell you.
That's on him.
Two consenting adults. But dude, I don't know, man, because a chick like that, if a chick asks you to do that, like 3 weeks into dating,
Yeah, that's a little soon.
There's something going on with her. I'm not here to fix you, girl.
Well, until you find out something wrong with her, you know,
it's
on you if you can't handle it.
That's wishful thinking. You're a monster.
Yeah, I'm like,
with that, I'm gonna save this shit.
I've said this before, and I'll say it again that my wife I could probably count on one hand the amount of times that she's told me no about anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you got what, $3,000 worth of hot toys on pre-order right now?
Don't want to talk about that.
Are you serious?
I don't know how much it is. I don't know how much it is.
Dude, don't fucking lie.
Never tell me the odds.
That's not the odds. It's the bill.
He's a buyer?
You got to hold that.
I'm a buyer. I'm a driver. I'm a pre-orderer. A flyer.
You got to hold that bill. And you got to eat the whole bill.
I am definitely eating that bill. Anyway, so like, if she ever asks me of anything, I'm usually 99% saying yes.
Okay.
You know, so like.
Devil's threesome.
What?
Devil's threesome.
What is a devil's threesome? Is it just two dudes and a? Oh, okay. Yeah. I'd have to table it.
Yeah,
I'd have to table it.
You got to.
I'd have to. Luckily, I don't think that would be an issue. I don't think that would arise, so to speak.
Or it might.
Yeah, but if she was like, but I mean, like anything that wasn't like, you know, like anything that wasn't like a long lasting thing of like, fuck, like, you know, how is our relationship going to move forward beyond this thing? You know,
right.
I would probably be in for it. She's like, you know, like, look, I want you to put this potted plant on your head and wear a sundress. I'd be like, okay, yeah, I guess so.
That's oddly specific.
You can't balance anything on that head.
No. I'm like Dan Aykroyd in Coneheads.
Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I felt like I read something. Yeah, probably. I don't read anything.
I didn't mention it. We did do the movie review.
Yes. I was going to get to that.
On the Patreon.
Yes, on the Patreon. We did the movie review of Caravan of Courage.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Which published today. It published today.
So bad. It was hilarious, though.
Oh, you guys are fucking sickos.
It's just
for me, it was important because
you're going to give yourself another cyst.
It caused me facing my fears. You know,
why?
Because that big monster. Like, I was scared as fuck of that big monster.
Oh, so you haven't watched it since?
No.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
And we all watched it with his kid. His kids had laughed at him when the monster came up.
It's fact.
You're like, you're trash, Dad.
They're like, pussy.
What does it look like? Bring it up.
It's like two lips and I guess a clitoris at the top and the labia. Oh, you mean the monster?
labia majora.
Let's see. It's called. I'll never forget the name now. It's called the Gorax.
Yep.
Is that what you call it? It's also a nickname for a vagina.
Dude, what throws me
like
off?
A bad creature, man.
What throws me off?
It looks like what?
Looks like a bad, like some kind of bat creature.
Oh yeah.
They put a nipple on that bitch. I didn't say it.
Was it a female?
Kids were around.
No, it's a-
But like they went through a lot of work to for some bad special effects.
Yeah, it looks like a bullshit. Looks like a weak ass Wookiee.
Yeah, it's big as fuck. Like he could hold you in his hand, like King Kong.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. That is a little more scary.
Yeah. I mean, I'm scared of me as a kid.
Size matters.
Watching it now, I was like, no, I'm fine. But when I was a child, I mean, I told Joe when we got to this part, I was like, this is where I would turn it off.
How old were you in that?
We looked that up. I think I was 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
4.
Okay, that's legit.
And then Scarred for Life, and then I went back.
Yeah. Well, just it's a very therapeutic month.
No, what got me was that
Caravan of
so
Courage.
fucking bad.
Fucking
I mean,
stupid.
it's funny bad. As an adult to watch it, I don't regret it. It was fucking hilarious. Once, but the fact that he watched it over and over again
As a
up
kid,
until that
yeah.
point.
As a kid, I watched it all the time. Yeah. And now we're gonna watch the sequel in 2 months from now.
Which one is that?
Battle for Endor. And that one.
These actually came out in the theater.
No, they were made for TV.
Oh, okay.
And
Thank God.
I never saw the Battle for Endor as a kid. I only saw it when I was much older. And
I was a man.
no, I was like a teenager. And when it came out on DVD, it might have been in my early 20s.
Okay.
But yeah. So it was fucking great.
It's stupid.
The most bizarre thing about it is how many Earth creatures are in it. like raccoons and chickens.
Chicken with feathers on his feet.
Chickens with feathers on their feet, which are the fucked up kind. There's one Ali G episode, man, where he's like interviewing.
What the fuck is that thing?
It's like it's a chicken. That.
Dude, has anybody watched that yet?
I watched some of it.
How bad is it?
It's funny as shit.
I want to watch it so bad.
He did this one where he's like going to this town and trying to open up like a mosque in the town in Arizona. Like he's like coming in, he's like a Englishman, like he's like an old Englishman with a bald head.
Yeah.
And he like comes in and he's like, well, this is what we're going to be bringing to your town, this and that. And he's like, we're going to be building a mosque for it. And you can like see the people like squirming in their seats. And he's like, this is option A. And it's like this huge fucking mosque. And it's like, this is option B. And it's like a huge mosque like built around the huge mosque. Like I'm talking about like Dracula's castle or some shit. Like it's like you know, like these people get all upset. And it's like, and I mean they're like it's unfortunate. Like they just prove so many stereotypes right, unfortunately. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With some of the shit they say, like this one guy was like this is an old traditional town. We're lucky to have blacks here. And he was like, that is right, sir. You are very lucky. We're all lucky to have African Americans around everywhere. Like, that's not what we mean. And that's what I mean. And it's so funny, man. Like, dude, the mirror that man is able to hold up to people is brilliant, and of all walks of life.
I do want to see it.
It's hysterical. I just saw one of them went viral or whatever. Like it was that one. And it's fucking good.
Yeah. I don't know. See what happens. A couple people have called him out. So I want to see if he puts those episodes in there too. When like they catch on.
Well, why would you put that in there?
Why not?
It's not entertaining.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
I mean, sure it does. It's still funny to see the reaction.
Yeah, I feel like if I was doing it and like I got caught, if I did 30 skits and I got caught in 5 of them, I'm definitely cutting the 5 out.
All right, well, okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I'm sure somewhere down the line in the Ali G stuff, somebody probably caught him too, but
yeah,
you don't keep that shit in.
I just walked away, you know, like what's his face did.
Trump.
Oh yeah, it was Trump.
Yeah.
Forgot about.
I mean, he didn't. I mean, he wrapped up the interview quickly.
Yeah, he's like, well, thank you for your time. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
I felt like somebody did it in one of the Ali G ones when he was in his own studio, though. Like they took their headset off and left.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's just so funny, man. That guy's a king among men. That dude is funny.
Anything else, Joe? Did we forget? I know we were on me. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you?
I have a lot.
Yes.
All right. Let me save it.
All right.
I think you've mentioned before. The problem with doing this podcast is
Yeah.
I have to wait to talk about stuff sometimes.
Yeah,
Like,
it
I
does
want to
suck.
ask.
It does
I wanted to text Bobby Saturday night or Sunday and
Yeah.
talk to him about something. Like, I gotta fucking wait till Wednesday.
Oh, you know what? You need to come over my house today and look at the scenery. There's this building, bro. It's like this wide, this long, and this high.
Oh shit!
And you can get your hands all up in that piece.
I like to get my hands. I like his modular. You can take off.
Oh, dude, so fucking awesome. I didn't leave that many modular because I just thought it was like a fucking waste of time.
I want
that
to
shit.
get the fluff out of the way.
Okay.
And
Like
then
what you did.
And then I'm going to get the negative, and then I'm going to close with the positive.
Oh, okay.
So, I finished reading Invincible Iron Man. It's not good. It is the lead up to Civil War. It might be good in some other structure. Unfortunately, it's disjointed, and there's story elements like one character's alive in one book, and in the next book, the character's dead.
Yeah,
and there's no
it's
explanation as
yeah.
to how. The one thing that's cool, it seems to be anyway, the introduction of Riri. And I've never read a book with her in it.
Riri Williams.
I don't know what her last name is.
I think it's Williams.
Okay, she's awesome.
Okay, cool.
Good.
You know, she's awesome. I think that with, you know, the SJR rebellion to her and Valkyrie and all the whatever, Jane Foster, etc. The problem is the mantle. You know, like if they introduced her as like almost a Robin type figure to Iron Man, and then even let Iron Man retire, let him sit out for a year, let him get injured and be out of the game for a year, and let her take over and have her own mantle.
Yeah.
I think if people wrote that off, then yeah, they just got an issue they got a sociological issue they need to think about.
Yeah.
Because she's a cool fucking character. And the relationship between her and Iron Man is fucking awesome. Like, when he shows up, her mother is like, you can't do this. You can't do, like, you know, to her in front of him.
Yeah.
Like, and you should be ashamed of yourself too. Look what you're making these kids do out here and such. And, you know, tell her to be safe. Tell her not to do this. She's in college, for Christ's sake. And, you know, all this kind of stuff. And he's like, how far are you going to take it? You know? And she's like, as far as I can. And Mom's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And he like looks over at her. He's like, she's already decided what she's doing.
Yeah.
And like goes, you know what I mean? But like that dynamic is fucking cool.
Yeah.
The book itself is trash. But that dynamic was cool and that character's cool. And it was nice to read her. I've never read her in anything. So being exposed to her, I dug her. I don't know what this is about. Slices of Life show? I can't remember now.
I remember we talked about it last week.
Yeah, what was that?
You couldn't stay awake for it, right?
Oh, yes,
yeah,
with
yeah.
Amy Adams on
Yeah,
HBO.
yeah.
See, I do listen.
Yes. I kept falling asleep.
Did you ever go back to it?
I went back to it one more time, fell asleep on it. Now Laura's taking the reins on it. I can't.
You're done.
Apparently, I can't handle it.
So to speak.
So I went to West Virginia to see my dad. And
How was that?
It was cool. It was interesting. There's some interesting things, like just little shit, like my dad has a tendency to make small talk conversation with me that I generally am not interested in partaking in, and like
It's not just your dad.
so that's true. So him and I went to he has this neighbor, it's like a master carpenter or whatever. He ripped all the wood for these two. Basically, I went up there because my dad was going to help me build these two risers for the two single detolfs. And this carpenter came over and like had wood laying around, like nice wood, so to speak, and ripped it all for us. And then we were going to put it together. Well, I got there, it was already put together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I puttied it up and then sanded it and then painted it. But we walked over to his house to thank him because he lives across the street. And my dad was like, my dad was talking to him about the weather, like rain and all this kind of shit. And he was like, yeah, it's supposedly coming in off the eastern seaboard. And I was like, I just like looked at him for a second in my head, and I was like, what a fucking stupid thing to say. Like, not that this is inaccurate or anything, just like it's fucking dumb. Like, why are we talking about this? And like, but you know, continued on. And actually, he said something nice. My dad said something nice. Like, he was like, what do you need these for? They're very specific sizes and such. And I was like, I'm a collector, and I have display pieces and such, and I need it to raise up a display piece. And my father was like, just saying he's a collector is an understatement. You should see the setup he has. And I was like,
Oh, that's nice.
yeah. Like a little undercover nice thing being said. So then we got back to the house. We get into the house. We're fucking talking. My wife and Laura's like, you know, this and that. And we're going to try to get home before the weather. And my dad's like, you know, it's coming off the eastern seaboard. I'm like, God damn it!
Dude, you don't work retail. You don't understand that. I would hear that all day from every fucking customer.
Right.
It's the fucking worst.
I watched Wonder Woman twice, and I watched Justice League.
How many times did you stare at her butt?
As many times as they gave me.
Okay.
But I got to, you know, after seeing it in Justice League, I'm like, meh. It was red pants trash. But speaking of, I also watched 66 Batman. The reason why is because it was all on during the SDCC coverage, like on HBO. They were like running nothing but, and it was just kind of on. And Wonder Woman, I had to say, man, like the more I watch it, the fucking better of a movie it is.
I don't
like,
even think I own it yet.
Yeah, like
I haven't bought a movie forever.
There's no point.
The more I see it, the more like, dude, this is a solid standalone piece. Justice League, the complete inverse. And I also and I also watched The Last Jedi twice. Once here at home.
Why?
It's on Netflix.
Just fuck with you.
And once at work, like after work, we hung out a little bit, and this guy was like, "I've never seen The Last Jedi," and I was like, "If you want to see it, I will sit right here with you until it's done." And he was like, "I'll take you up on it," and I was like, "Let's do it." And he fucking loved it, which was
Good.
nice. Invincible, that's the comic book. I started reading that. So I'm only a couple chapters into it, right? It's fine. But I think in my head, the hype built around it, I'm waiting for the material to match the hype. It's definitely not there. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
But it's not like you know, there have been books where people have been like, you gotta read Dark Knight Returns, and then like a chapter into Dark Knight Returns, I'm like, holy fuck, I should have been reading Dark Knight Returns, you know. But or like when you suggested Long Halloween and stuff like that, like when you get like one chapter into it, you're like, what have I been denying myself?
Yeah.
Not the case
Yet.
I'm still reading it though, and then I watched the movie.
I really want that to be good because I want to read it.
Me
next.
too.
Yeah.
Me too. And I want to get the whole set. I think they'll make a nice display piece, you know, for a shelf. And anyway, I started reading. I started watching. I watched the whole movie, started and finished.
Yeah.
It's like whoever the name is that created Wonder Woman, the dude, because he has like two
from
names.
the lie detector test guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's his name in the Wonder Women.
God, what is his name? I think it starts with S.
I can't remember because like his like pen name is like Charles Mutton or some shit, but like his real name is something else. Anyway, it was good. It's like a drama, and I know the guy. I couldn't tell you what he's from, and then two chicks, his wife, and then
his girlfriend.
Yes, but he had more than that.
Yeah,
in real life, they don't really address that at all.
I mean, he had a straight up poly relationship.
Oh yeah,
type of shit.
yeah, like
they took family photos together.
Yeah, and you better have a wide, like a long lens or a short lens.
Yeah,
you know, like it's a huge family, but they only really focus on these two women that pretty much everyone, doing a little bit of research afterwards, say are probably his major, you know,
it's primary
inspiration for creating Wonder Woman. And like it's interesting, like the dynamics of the two, like. One is definitely Diana, and one is definitely Wonder Woman.
Oh, really?
You know, like,
That's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. And little things like one always wore like this long bracelet and everything. Just a lot of little shit, you know.
That's cool.
One had an obsession with tiaras, and you know, just little interesting stuff that's very, very cool.
And he invented the lie detector test, and her lasso.
Well, the three of them did.
Yeah, and the lasso, of course, makes you tell the truth.
Right.
So,
but it's very, very, it's very good. It's worth a watch, not worth a own.
Is it what's his face from the Lord of the Rings? Isn't it like Vigo, whatever?
Not Vigo. This guy might be in Lord of the Rings, though. I couldn't.
Maybe I'm switching.
Yeah, this guy might be in Lord of the Rings, but it's not Vigo.
Okay.
But it's quite good.
Vigo.
It's quite good. It's very interesting, and like the one of the things that I found particularly like cool was like apparently I wasn't gonna say it again. Apparently, yeah. No, you're right. I saw you load up. The main two chicks that are based in this movie and happen to be Wonder Woman seems largely based off of like after he died like in the 40s, like he died young of cancer. They stayed together forever.
Wow.
Like yeah,
Oh, cool.
yeah, like
That's very cool.
they stayed together. One died at like 100, the other one died at like 87. Like they
Yeah.
stayed together forever.
Let me ask you all a question. Because we were watching something else here. Oh, I know what it is. Let me get an alibi. I've been watching Explained on Netflix. Have you seen these?
No, I did try your Jizza science swords or whatever.
I didn't finish watching it.
It's trash.
I know. It's
really bad.
I got like the first. I didn't get past the intro.
Every time I see his face, I just imagine him going, "Where the Mason-Dixon line cross." I don't know why.
But anyway, it's called Explained.
I scrolled through it.
Yeah,
It would look
they're like,
interesting.
they're like anywhere from like 12 to 18 minutes, and it's explain shit.
Oh, really?
Sounds awesome.
And one they did it was monogamy, and basically it's like if you look at hunter-gatherer tribes that still exist, like everybody fucks everybody, nobody recognizes their kids. It's like if there's a baby next to you, you just pick it up, feed it, put it on its way. Take it on its, everybody, like the tribe's children are the tribe, belongs to the tribe.
The whole takes a village thing.
Yeah. You didn't get into monogamous relationships and owning your children per se until agriculture started, and then property rights started, and that's
Labor,
when,
right?
and that's when, huh?
Does it have to do with like labor?
Well, no, it's land. So if I was a farmer, like this is mine because I need this to feed my family, and my family is mine because I need them to work these fields.
Right,
Yeah.
he's talking about the labor.
Yeah.
Because kids worked a lot.
Right.
Yeah. And marriage didn't come into place until you had tribes that were warring, so they were like peace treaties. It's like you're the head of this tribe, you're the head of this tribe, so you marry your kids together, so it's like one big tribe. And then marriage for love didn't happen until like the early 20th century or some shit. Like that was like absurd. You just married people. That's what you did because you had to, you know? But it's very interesting. It was some very interesting shit. But then my wife and I were talking about it, because in this thing they interviewed they interviewed some gay couples, they interviewed some like open marriage couples, like some ethical non-monogamy, I think they're called, or that's not the right thing, they call it something else, and like the polyamory, I guess, as well. But like, how long do you think until that shit is legally recognized, or you could have 2 wives, or you can have a husband and a wife?
I don't know, only because of the money.
Yeah, I hear you. So, like, there would have to be that. Is that what's holding it back for like insurance purposes?
Well, I think probably, the religious right represented in government.
Yeah,
and not even to say that the people that are representing them feel that way, but they just know who their constituents are.
But they've already lost the gay battle.
Correct.
That shit is over.
Correct.
But
I'm just saying, like, I mean, they're still fighting the abortion thing. You know what I mean? Like, and that's strongly fueled by the religious folks.
My question is, when is everyone going to move on and evolve like me, where you just don't have marriage anymore because you don't need it?
Maybe.
Actually go back to how it used to be, where you don't fucking need marriage.
Yeah, maybe.
With a piece of paper anyway.
I mean, but it does come down to marriage now as like a business thing.
Exactly.
For property rights.
Which is fucking crazy.
So we have to get back to like, a state of nature of like, hunting and gathering. Then all works. Samesies.
It's fucking weird. It's fucking monies. It just has to do with money.
I mean, it is. It's property.
So
yeah.
it's not, but people preach marriage like morality, but it's not fucking morality.
I do think that there becomes, once there's a morality to the system, possibly. You know what I mean? Like, as the system is in place, like once we get in the box, to be in the box, we have to have a certain, so to speak, a certain set of rules. So everything works. Without that, the box dissolves, and then we're back in state of nature. And I'm not saying, I'm not saying that we don't need a box to live and be happy.
Yeah.
But we need the box to have Star Wars, and cell phones, and comic books. And Bobby doesn't like bugs, so bug-free environments.
If all it takes for me to avoid bugs is a little loyalty, sign me up.
I don't know. I just feel like relationships in general are just agreement between people, not even just two.
No, I mean, dude, listen. If my wife came to me tomorrow and said, "Hey, listen, I got this other chick that I'm down with. She's gonna move in and help she's gonna pay for a third of shit," and I'll be like, "Okay, is she hot?" I mean, like, I just wonder how long that's gonna be until it's acceptable, because it's coming. Like, I think it's
that's what I'm saying. Like,
I don't know if there's a push for it.
Oh, the open non-monogamy and the polyamory is a growing community.
Yeah, I understand that, but I don't think
it's more normalized.
I don't think there's a significant political push for it in the same way of like
not political,
like the trans community have like a political push.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
and you need the political push to make shit done, to get shit done.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
That's the other thing that lady talked about is the trans stuff. That was pretty interesting.
Well, she also talked about how Asians just work hard, but we're discriminated against.
That's true. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so it was an interesting movie.
Yeah,
and it was good, and the acting was good. Solid drama.
Nice. So how long do you think it's going to be, though?
I would say at least 20 years.
Okay. So in your children's lifetime?
No, I don't know if it's a for sure thing.
Okay.
Because of the money.
Okay.
And if you fuck the money up, don't do it. All that, I can hear it now because I'm plugged in. Like all this.
Oh, touching it.
Yeah.
Dude, you scared him a little bit, man.
What am I doing?
No, I was trying to play it.
I'm so sorry.
No, I was trying to play it.
I'm so sorry.
I was trying to play into the don't do that joke. But yeah, I think that I don't know if it's a for sure thing that we'll ever see it. But if we were to see it, maybe in 20 years, you'd start seeing it like the beginning phase of it. But yeah, I don't know if it's.
My guess is 10. What is all right? I'm gonna say by 2030.
2030.
By 2030.
A lot of these cults, the kind of documentaries I was watching, they were being persecuted for polygamy.
Yeah,
like legally persecuted.
Well, polygamy.
I mean, he was persecuted. This guy. I mean, they were both kicked out of. They were both professors at a school and all this shit, and they were both fired.
I think polygamy.
But she was also a student. The third one.
Oh, really?
Well, that's an ethical issue.
Yeah.
I think I want to say polygamy was legal in the United States up into like the Mormon shit. It was like specifically the laws to fuck with the Mormons. I want to say I read that someplace.
Weird, regardless, to like put someone in jail because they want to marry more than one person. I mean, Just don't give them the paperwork. Just have one legal marriage, and then they can just fucking. I mean, we do that anyway, right?
Yeah.
Like people do that anyway. They sleep around. They may have multiple people they sleep around with regularly, and it's not fucking illegal.
I want to. What was it like before there's a birth control pill? I think affects women's like their sex drives.
Yeah.
But like it's something crazy. Like 20% of children, the father's not the real father, the biological father.
Yeah.
Of the person she's married to. So if you have 5 kids, one of them wasn't yours on average. Something like that. Something ridiculously high. You wouldn't guess. So anyway,
I don't have it. I know I don't have it in me. I can't.
You already live with 4 women. You can't live with another one.
No, not that. I can't give. I can't give anymore. Like, like my cup runneth over. So like if I were to devote that sort of energy into another human being, it's gonna suffer from somebody else. You know what I mean?
That's why I always wonder about people with multiple kids. I'm like, how do you
It's a valid point.
It's interesting how that works, because like when you have your first, you're like, there's at least for me, like I was like, I don't know if I want any more
Not
kids.
that you'll ever understand this, Joe.
yeah.
That and I'm on the
joys of being a father, but I was like, I don't know if I could have another kid because I don't know how I would be able to love anybody like I love this one. But it is funny how it creates a new road of love. I feel like it's like
your well just gets bigger.
Yeah, it's almost like somebody just
extra cups.
Yeah, or like it's like somebody puts in another pipe, and it goes to a totally new place, but the water stays the same. Like,
do you think there's a limit? Because there's some people with like
I don't know.
6,
I
12,
never had that feeling because I mean. I know you're not an only child, but you might as well be an only child.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? No offense. You are a good listener, so there's that. But like, I don't know, for me, I always knew I was going to have more than one kid,
I always imagined I'd have more than one.
Yeah. And
but it's just when I actually had one that I started thinking, double guessing, having 2.
Okay. And living with my siblings, all my siblings for my life, so I don't know. Joe, have you had a vasectomy?
No.
Did you ever think about doing that?
I'm not against it.
Mm-hmm. I'm just curious.
I never thought of it.
I mean, like, because if I was at like, I don't want to have any more kids.
I'm pro-abortion, so I'm fine.
Just fucking sicko.
Just sprinkle a little Plan B in the oatmeal.
Well, I mean, I just got them from work. It's fine. But what if you have 6 kids? You don't think that would change things?
I don't know.
I guess you don't know until you get there.
Yeah, and I think it just keeps routing. Like it just.
I don't know. I got a fucked up story to tell you. So, I was listening to somebody the other day, and they were talking about like honoring your mother and father, regardless of whatever. And I took it to heart. I was like, you know what? And it wasn't like a religious thing. He was saying like, this is like, this isn't a religious thing per se, but it's a truth that a lot of religions talk about, and there's probably something to it.
Sure.
So I was like, you know what? Let me call my mom up. So Saturday is my grandmother's. She's getting buried at Arlington, right? So we already had some drama before with actually having a service for that she originally wanted when my first grandmother died, and there was some strife back and forth where the location was. Because my father. My grandmother requested my father to have it at her house. I think I've talked about this on the podcast before, even though my mom and my dad are divorced.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad's known my grandmother since he's like 16 years old. So, he's like, of course, we'll do whatever you want to do. Well, between then, my grandmother's only died like 9 months apart. The plans started changing, but everybody knew what she wanted. And there was some very shady shit going on. But it didn't matter. And I don't know if it was shady per se. It just had the perception of being shady, to be fair to all parties. And then some people got very upset about that, didn't know how to act. Some people didn't know how to deal with other people not acting. Just everybody on their worst behavior. Understandably, it was a traumatic time. Yeah. So the majority of the family decided to have it as she wanted it to have it, but we didn't have her ashes because, for whatever reason. So we just did something else. It was funny. I actually just took an urn out of the back of the room and put it up front, like it was her ashes. And I wish I was going to ask the people, can I break this? I'll pay for it. I'll break it. I was going to be like, whoa, and like drop it on the ground and shit. I thought and my grandmother would have loved that. She thought that was funny as fuck. So come to find out, Saturday, they're doing something in Arlington and they don't have anything planned. They're just opening up a hole and putting it on top of my grandfather. And I'm like, what all the fight about the services, the agreement that we're going to do both. And it's just like, anyway, I don't even think my mom was coming. So regardless of that, I gave her a call just to check on her. I didn't bring anything up with her. I wasn't trying to fight with her or nothing. Just, how are you doing?
You haven't talked to her in a while.
I mean, like, I hadn't talked to her for 3 years until my grandmother was on her deathbed. And then I just being compassionate, check on her, seeing how she's doing because her mom died. So my sister's had a baby recently, my youngest sister. That's her first baby. And she's not talking to my mom. My other sister's not talking to my mom. My brother's definitely not talking to my mom. He flipped out on her and cussed her out. And all of a sudden the money he was supposed to get from my grandmother has vanished somehow. And anyways, my dad talked to my mom. He's like, listen, he tried to send a picture of the new baby to her. She's like, don't send it to me. I don't want to see it. And she's like, I don't want to get close to any kids. She's like, I don't want to get close to any kids that could be taken away from me and used as a weapon, which is bullshit. We just want her to own her shit. To say, hey, I fucked up. I'm manipulative. I got issues. I'm sorry. I'll try to be a better person. I mean, that's all we want to hear. You know what I mean? And we want her to stop, doing her shit. So she basically told my dad, she's like, I don't want to deal with anybody. I don't care. I don't want to have anything to do with them anymore. It's like, it's just not worth it to me. And I'm like, God damn, man. Just like, that's some
just
fucking
threw your family
rough.
away.
Just throw it away. Threw it all away. For what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like, so I don't know, man. It's and my dad called me back, and my dad has been the fucking crazy bit about it is my dad has been her biggest advocate. He's like, call your mom up. You don't want to do this forever. Just get over it. And like to a point, man, like I just like, you know what? I'm not gonna be mad at you about this anymore. It's fine. Whatever happened. And who knows if if this fucked up thing didn't happen, maybe something worse would have happened. Maybe this is a blessing that I don't understand. And that's like, how I try to live my life when bad shit happens. And he's like, after I was done talking to him, he's like, dude, I don't even know why I fucking fight for her anymore. I was like, because you're trying to be empathetic and you're trying like to, ease everybody's shit. But she even told my brother, she's like, I just don't want to see those people anymore. Talking about her kids. I don't want to, I don't want to see my kids anymore.
I want to see
but
these
fucking
people.
Those people. I'm on those people's status. So yeah, man, like, and then Saturday, I don't even know if I want to go now because, I mean, I want to go, but it's just gonna be like, I'm going to go there, just be some dude with a shovel, but like, hey, you want the hole here or you want it here?
Yeah.
How deep do you want the hole? We're going to throw these ashes in here. I don't know why the guy talks like that. He's probably a fine gentleman, hardworking guy. But yeah, I can't believe after all, and like the aunt who's the oldest of the three siblings, my mom, my aunt, my uncle. My mom's the youngest, so you can do the math where my uncle is. Because the rules in Arlington, like she's got to be the one who chooses everything, and she lives like in Tennessee, so I don't even know if she's coming. It's just a fucked up situation, man. It's good to tell you, have all your shit and all your burial shit plans done, and have somebody who you trust who's fucking capable, and not
And get a DNR.
Yeah. So anyway. That's I don't know. I don't know. What do you think I should do? Should I just like let it go? It's not, or should I keep on calling? Just, hey, how are you doing? All right, have a nice day.
No, I mean,
I
like,
think it doesn't matter what you want.
yeah. I think once you've done your part, once you've called and it's like you tried, and it's like, hey man, that's all you can do.
If you feel like you're gonna call because you feel obligated, I wouldn't do that. But if you want to call because you want to call, then you should do that.
I want to call because I think it's just a compassionate thing to do. It's just the morally right thing to do.
But is it what you want to do, or is it just you? Like, cause I make the right decision all the time, but it's not what I want to do.
I mean, I don't want to do it, and I don't not want to do it. I don't.
Then,
at this
then,
point,
then I would do it.
At this point, I just don't care.
Then I would do it. If you have a,
I just think that it's like
if you have a drive inside that's saying do it, and you don't not want to do it,
it's like paying your taxes.
It doesn't hurt.
I don't want to pay my taxes. At the same time, I don't not want to pay my taxes because I do believe that they go to something worthwhile.
Some of it.
The roads.
But I don't want you to get hurt. I don't want you to call having subconscious expectations or hoping for something to come out of it that won't, and then you'll be upset afterwards that it didn't. You know what I mean? Like, as long as that part is like
cry
done,
in the corner.
like you really have no expectation of anything getting better, then
you know what the fucked up thing about this is that her concern of us quote unquote taking the kids away from her, but she's had access to the kids. She's free to call them anytime, to Skype them, to come visit them anytime, and she has visited them like once. It was weird as fuck. And she's been invited to Christmas. She's been invited to the pool. It's always like anytime that she doesn't come see the kids, it's twisted in a way to support her narrative of everybody, disowning her or whatever. But like now I'm to the point now, if like she could do this to the kids, to like her adult children, do I even want to take the chance of her fucking with my kids? You know what I mean? Like if it's so callous now, is this even a person that's worth me having my kids experience?
I mean, Bobby, you
I'm
have
asking,
you have a take
similar
on this
situation.
personally, right?
Yeah,
Like,
mine.
And let me say this before you say, I honestly believe that my mom has had a drug issue with prescribed medication that's totally eradicated her personality. Like, I don't
She's a
feel
different person.
Yeah, I mean, she's been taking Xanax for 30 years, maxed out however much you can take, the maximum dosage a day, and she's probably taken 6 or 7 of those, to the point where the new doctor who she went to took her off. She had to go through withdrawals and said, "I'm not ever giving you Xanax again because the levels you're taking for the length is a lawsuit waiting to happen, malpractice suit waiting to happen." Maybe I don't know if you want to add anything from your professional doctory.
No, but it puts a hard time on me too. Like when I have to fill scripts and I look at people's profiles, I'm like, fuck, if I fill this, if the DA comes audit, that could be my ass, and I have to turn people away at certain points, regardless of what the doctor says.
Yeah.
Or at least document. The doctor told me I have to fill this. Then
Do you have to still?
you don't have to, but like
I'd be like, fuck you.
It takes liability off of me.
You want to fight?
But no, I see crazy shit like that all the time. I'm used to it.
I would love to see Joe rip his shirt off and flex on some doctor talking about you have to be like, oh yeah, I want to go.
I wouldn't.
You want to go?
I'd be like, this is weird. I don't like this at all.
It's nice skin.
It doesn't. And it doesn't fit into like my worldview of everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what do you think though? Like, with your mom's situation?
My mom's situation is very different, man.
Of course.
But you had to choose something to do with your kids and her.
Yes. So I did what I did
Would
to
you do it
for the children, to protect myself and protect my children, and she would have to get right with me and get really right with me to get to my kids.
But would she have to get right with Jesus?
If she doesn't, it's always going to be sour grapes with her. I got to go into this next bit, but let's
Save it.
Yeah. So I got a little bit of bad news to get through. I'm not going to bum everybody out, and then I'm going to get to the better news, or at least more entertaining.
This is the last episode of Nerd Rage Radio.
So
153, it was good.
This has been the hardest professional work week of my life, without a doubt. And we had a coworker die at work. Like, we do have dangerous chemicals and stuff can go wrong with the mopping organization, and it sucks. It really sucks. So thoughts and prayers and all that kind of stuff, whatever you believe in or feel, are appreciated. But it's been very rough. It's been weird to go back to work. We've never had anything like this ever happen. I appreciate the phone calls that Adam has given to check in. Joe came by and hung out with me for 2 days, doing nothing constructive, just hanging out, and it is more appreciated than you'll ever know. It really, really, really is a difficult time for me. That being said, I'm going to walk away from it with new knowledge, and I'm going to be extra safe at work around the chemicals and such. The one thing I learned is that, at work, everybody has different relationships with folks. And I think sometimes if you come to work at a new job, somebody can be like, don't fuck with them or whatever, because, they got some beef, and I've never subscribed to that train of thought. I've always based my personal opinions off of personal experiences.
Yep, absolutely.
But I'm sure there are people that had that relationship with him as they have it with everyone else in their life and our lives. And I'm sure they're kicking themselves in the ass right about now. So that would be my words of wisdom to everyone: is base your personal opinions off of personal experiences, and don't be quick to be at the cool table unless you're talking about the podcast network.
Yeah.
The other thing that I wanted to discuss regarding it is I gotta remember what the fuck it was now. I forget. But yeah, I've got something else, so I might circle back to it.
It'll come to you.
But
Be nice to each other.
be nice to each other and base your experiences off of whatever. And, you know, I don't know. Be careful in whatever you do. And, oh, I know what it was. So my mopping organization is, and I'm not putting it out there on purpose, but like you may not know much about, I don't know, the soda industry.
Yeah.
But you know Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
And you know Pepsi.
Yeah.
And there may be 1,000 other different independent
RC
soda companies out there, but you may not be as familiar. But I work for a big mopping company. And one thing I was surprised at was the lack of reach out from people. And I don't mean like listeners or anything like that, but I mean like my neighbors.
Huh.
You know, my family.
Yeah.
People in the communities, you know, and had this happened, like I know what most of my neighbors do for a living, and a lot of them are educators. I know what school they work for, and like, you know, God forbid there was something that went horribly wrong in a school, which is even terrible to even talk about these days. But something did, like I'd be at their house with fucking brownies or fucking whatever you do, you know, just to, hey, I'm sorry, you know, nothing, not a peep, and not that I need it or want it, but it is interesting to me.
Ooh, it's a deep dive.
Yeah.
So, like, do you think that speaks to your? Does that speak to your community, or does that speak to your relationships?
I think yes.
Okay.
I think yes.
'Cause I mean, personally, I don't know any of my neighbors. I don't know their names.
But
I don't know what
mine
they
do. Mine know me. I know
Okay.
them.
Okay.
You know, and I'm not on great relationship. I'm not on great terms with any of them really.
Right.
But I'm not on bad terms with 99% of them.
I mean,
And even the ones that I'm on bad terms with,
Yeah.
one of them's an educator, I think. I know. Well, no, he's not an educator, but I know where he works.
Yeah.
And if something happened there, I'd be at his door.
Right.
You know.
I don't know if it's a. I don't know which it is. Either it's a few things, right? Either they don't care, or they're not thinking about it, or they're just like, I don't know him well enough. I better leave him alone.
Yeah,
It
I don't know.
could be that, you know.
It could be. It could be.
I wouldn't want to bother
But
somebody.
it is interesting to me. Same like my sister, my brother, you know,
Oh yeah, well,
nothing.
that's different.
That's crazy.
You know?
especially the brother that lives around here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was he
Yeah.
down there?
No. But it's very sobering.
Yeah.
You know? Like
When I tried to call you Saturday and couldn't get you, I was like, ooh.
yeah.
It went to voicemail.
Yeah, I don't even know what was going on.
Didn't call back.
You see, for me, I'm so out of touch with stuff. I would have no idea until I was told by somebody.
Yeah. And I went to but I think most people know.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, at least around here in the local area. I think that there are. It's almost like
But hold on.
Yeah.
Time out. Doesn't your neighbor across the street?
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Didn't say nothing.
Not a word.
Wow. What a dick move.
Yeah. And it's so like I'm not close with these people.
Right,
None
right,
of them.
right.
You know, and some of them I've had sour relationships with, but only one of them I still continue to kind of hold a grudge. You know, the rest of them are kind of like, I got to think about where I am.
Directionally
That
speaking.
way.
A and D.
Yeah.
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 So, yeah, that way. Most of them I'm fine with.
ABC.
I'm fine with. Hi, how you doing?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
whatever. It's cool, no problem. There's another neighbor, like their dog was loose. You know, like, and I went and tracked their dog down until I got a hold of their
he was
dog.
actually tracking the dog, like, looking for footprints and broken,
Smelling the poop.
broken blades of grass.
tasted the dirt and shit.
Yeah.
Until I found out where it was, you know, and then I got a hold of the dog, and I didn't know whose dog it was because I'd never seen him walking this dog. So like, I just walked with the scruff of the dog's neck, like around the neighborhood, looking for like an open fence or door or something.
Yeah.
Finally found an open fence, went into the fence, looked into the windows and stuff. Probably somebody could have called the cops on me, you know.
Yeah.
But I looked into the window, so I saw a picture of the dog in a family photo, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Cool, this is where you belong." Left it here, closed the gate up on my way out. Never. I didn't leave a note.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To say, hey,
Yeah.
I'm not a bad guy.
I am hero.
You're right. Exactly.
Batman.
Your dog is here. That's all that matters. But I would have done that for them.
Yeah.
But nobody even said like, hey, do you work for that mopping organization? I thought I see you come home with the mopping clothes on. I thought maybe you did. I'm fucking sorry. Not that I need it or want it. It's just interesting that it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's almost like, because I don't think that mopping is necessarily super dangerous, but there are chemicals and so forth, and it's almost like
electrical sockets.
It's almost like the Joker, man.
Yeah.
Like if a gangbanger is shot or a truck full of soldiers is blown to bits, no one skips a beat because
nobody bats an eye.
All part of the plan.
Yeah.
All right. So now on to this other news, which is kind of interesting. So we had this Patreon episode, and I was super fucked up. And it was kind of a drunk mind, sober tongue, as I always like to say.
The one with the girls?
Yes.
Okay.
That's how it started.
Yeah. And I was listening back to it, and I was like, damn, like they're telling me some things about myself that I might need to think about regarding how I react in situations and circumstances. So I was like, I'm going to try. Like, I want to be a better person, So I'm going to get on board. So I had my wife have a little tub meeting. Mm-hmm. Tub meetings is where it counts.
Yeah.
And we had the tub meeting, and she was like, maybe and I was like, 'cause sometimes I don't know if you want me to go the distance. Sometimes I feel like you do want me to go the distance. And she's like, well, how about we have a code word? So we have a code word for,
It's paramecium.
It's hey, big guy, sun's getting real low. But we have a code word. I'm not going to give the code word because I don't want people to trigger me while I'm out and about, like train car.
Homecoming.
Yeah. But in an attempt to do better, it was good. It was good, all positive.
Yeah.
But we had to broach the subject of the mother-in-law because it's becoming an issue again.
Also known as Mount St. Helen.
Yeah. So we had this conversation, and she was like, well, I want to have a meeting with the three of us. And we kept talking about it. And the more we talked about it, I was like, it really seems like you two need to have a meeting. And then I can have a meeting with her at another time. But it seems like you two need to have a meeting. And she's like, you're right. So my wife had a meeting with her mother and like laid it out for her. And like, I can't tell you how proud I am of
Yeah,
her.
that's
like,
awesome.
She was like, look, like I need
big
you,
moves.
I need you to see us as a unit, as a team. Whatever you say, however you act in regards to him, it affects us. You're literally the only thing that we ever argue about in our marriage. Like, laid it out.
Not even $3,000 worth of hot toys.
And and she was like, well, I understand. Her mother was like, I understand that you put him first and the kids, so I'm like fifth on your list. And she was like, well, he sees it the same way. And she's like, well, how could he think that? And she told him went to the vasectomy story again with her and breaking down how, like, I should have stepped in, like her saying this. I should have stepped in and deaded this conversation and told you it was none of your business.
Should we retell that story just to...
Sure.
Not to stir the emotions,
Right,
but it is...
I'm not emotional about it.
It is a funny story.
It's pretty
Yes.
funny.
One.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there, like, the popcorn, like, in the middle, like, looking like...
Michael Jackson.
Jackson popcorn.
Yeah.
So it was Christmas Eve. We're coming up the steps, Adam and I. And as soon as we're coming up the steps, her mother's like, are you getting a vasectomy? And I was like, weird. No. And she was like, well, you need to. I was like, no, don't. And she was like, well, you can't have any more kids. And I was like, no, I can. Because I'm not getting the vasectomy. That's how that works. And she was like, well,
and pause. This isn't a constant line of questioning. This is like, he's going like 20 minutes in time right now.
Yeah.
Or like there's a pause and then she'll bring it up again.
Well,
Yeah.
but not like it's more like it's a brief pause between sentences, but it's like we're not speaking
cheese.
as fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And stuff like
Yeah.
that. So like
Other dialogues going on.
but not between her and I.
No, yeah.
So
This is also Christmas Eve.
correct. It's Christmas Eve. So then
Because,
she's like,
bringing up vasectomies with your son-in-law on the Christmas Eve party with his friends and extended family, I would call us.
Yes.
Maybe not appropriate.
Yes.
All
So
right, continue.
I was like, she was like, well, you really need to think about one because you can't afford anymore. And I was like, well, I'm not going to do it. And you don't get to tell me what to do with my body. And that was kind of a jab.
Hashtag me too.
That's a low-key jab because she was part of the era of fighting for women's rights and all that kind of stuff. So it was a calculated jab, but it was I'm on the level. Yeah. Now, my wife is pregnant with Leia. And she says...
So it wasn't a pressing issue.
She says, so you really need to look into getting a vasectomy. And at that point, I think this is the 5th time she'd now asked. I snapped.
At least.
I snapped. And I said, I'm just kind of hoping for birth complications with this one so they can just tie her tubes up while they're in there. And it was a shock and awe moment.
Did everybody hear?
A lot of people.
What was your face, Adam?
The only thing you'd hear is me crunching.
Now, obviously, I don't mean that.
Yeah, obviously.
But my wife was hurt by it.
Yeah.
And
soured the whole tone of the evening.
She definitely shut the fuck up, because
shut the fuck up, Chip.
Shut the fuck up, Chip. I mean, the conversation was over, Yeah. So Laura and I talked later, months or whatever, and she's like, well, it was a hurtful thing you said. I'm like, I shouldn't have had to say it. Like
that conversation,
the conversation should have never happened. For one, for two,
you should never initiated it.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
For two, you could have stepped in at any time and put her in her place.
Yeah.
I was left to my own defenses. In the same way, with every time with your family, I'm left to my own defenses. It's me against the world. So I can only deflect and try to be cordial so long before I say something shocking. Because
she shouldn't be surprised.
It's kind of my thing.
Yeah. I don't even know what I would do if I couldn't do it.
So she brought that up and was saying, like, I could have stepped in and stopped that conversation, which she did admit, know, and she was like, so I put you first. I didn't step in, and I put my husband second. And then as a result, she said this to her mom, my husband said something shocking and hurtful because it's what my husband does. So she gets on board. Mother-in-law gets on board. She's like, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Can I write him a letter? So she says, yes. She writes me a letter. I want you to be part of my family, which I'm like, I want to be like, well, sorry, because that's not even on the table right now. What's on the table is for you to be part of mine, But, and then I wrote her a note back, and I was like, do you like me? Circle the answer, yes or no. I didn't do that. So that's how that ended. So then we set up a time to talk on Saturday. Now,
This past
Saturday.
The baby's birthday.
Yes. Now, Saturday was also the funeral for my friend, or my coworker, I'll say. And so I didn't go to that because it was my baby's birthday and I didn't want to drag the family out. And then I had this thing to look forward to, which I was open about. So we sit down at the table.
Well, were you hopeful going into this, or?
I was cautiously optimistic.
Okay.
It was like when I went into Age of Extinction. So we sat down at the table. My wife rang the bell. Bing, ding, 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 ding. And we went in. So both her parents are there. I'm there. She's there. And they're like, let's talk. So I'm talking, and I'm like, look, for one, I want to make, I want everybody to be on the same page. Mm. And I want to make something abundantly clear. Like, whatever comes out of this is just between us. Mm-hmm. Like, it has nothing to do with the rest of the Get Along gang and the extended family and all that. This is us.
Yeah.
And this is a slow process for me. This is a slow burn. I am in this to build a real, authentic, and sincere relationship. I'm not in this so that I can attend the next gathering and then everything goes back to the way it was. Yeah. That's not going to happen.
Just patch up for
correct.
For
correct.
This isn't quick lot.
Correct. So it took a minute to get on board with that. I kind of aired my grievances, like just in the sense of like I've never felt welcomed by this family. Yeah. And then I said to her father, I was like, I've always been felt welcomed by yours, just not yours. And I was like, and everybody feels that way. She said, what do you mean everybody feels that? And I was like, well, your brother's wife feels that way. Your other brother's wife feels that way. And she said, no, they don't. I was like, they all told me they do. Mm-hmm. Like, and when I say things at these gatherings, they're like laughing and applauding me behind closed doors because they've never had the guts to say it. But here's the thing about me. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, and
so you just shattered her worldview about her family.
Yeah.
And just threw everybody under the bus.
Yeah. Yeah, I did do that too, which I do kind of low key feel bad
Bastard.
about. So, we continued talking. I'm trying to think if there's anything really there. She said some weird things in it, but like not weird enough to really go to bat for.
Like,
just like I'm trying to think of a specific example, and I'm not sure that
what were her grievances?
Well, she was saying how like when you come over, you don't interact, you just stay to yourself and this and that. And I was like, I do that now. And I was like, I tried for years to be a part of your family with nothing. So like now when I come over there, I just sit. I'm just there.
Yeah, because you're never like that anywhere else.
Well, that's what. So I got there, and I was like, what's interesting is that like in my life, your world is the only world where I'm perceived the way I am.
Yeah,
I'm usually the guy that when I show up, people are like, now the fun begins. Mm-hmm. And I know,
sup, nerds,
and I know I'm not perceived that way at your house. and then I also said, to quote you, I was like, I also know that I'm capable of giving off a pheromone, for lack of a better term, of like do not like stay the fuck out of my way because I'm in no mood for play. And I do feel that way at your house often, so I can understand how you would feel that way. And I was like, you have to understand. I was like, you're the third mother figure in my life that wants nothing to do with me. Mm. I was like. And then it was funny because we started talking about other shit, and like she, I still don't think she quite gets me, but I'm gonna work on it. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I went to therapy. I was like, this is one of the things I learned. I'm talking about like, and I was like, so I told her, the therapist. She's like, you went to a female therapist, and I was like, yeah, and she's like, because she thinks I hate women because of my mother. Like that's how which is somewhat the case, but not totally the case.
You can't be looking vulnerable in front of a dude.
That's what it is. Yeah. Like I'm gonna buck. I know I will. Like I'm gonna be like I'm not gonna tell you how. I'm not
if he's a little German guy.
I can't. Yeah, then I'm on board. But I'm not gonna give you my shatter point.
Yeah.
Like. Who knows when I might have to square off against you, Mac? Like you never know. I could be coming out of fucking McDonald's and you could give me a fucking.
This is what we're talking about.
Right. But I'm.
Right. So stop. Let this wash over you. Feel it. Accept it. Know that it's there.
Sun's getting real.
All right.
So then like she didn't say a whole lot.
Okay.
And I did a lot of the talking. So I'm not sure, and I'm not sure where it's gonna lead. Everybody seemed to be very optimistic about it, but I was like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Not
there's no trust there.
Not pessimistic, but it's just like
How was Loose Dog taking all this?
Chilling. He was just sitting there, really. Like well, he even said like he chimed in. I was like, because I feel this way about your family, and he was like, yeah, your wife, he was like said to his wife, he was like, your mom didn't like me till I think last year. And I was like,
did she just pass away? That's his mom. That's his mom.
Yeah. And I told them, I was like, and look, I was like, big out to Carlos, like nothing but respect, and because he'll put himself through it, and I won't.
Yeah,
I won't. I don't have that level of sacrifice in me to make me feel like shit every time I come around you guys. Like I'm not in that. I'm not on that train. Maybe my psyche isn't quite as firm as Carlos is, but you can't fuck with me. Like I will prevent it. Right. I talked a little bit about the family dynamics. I was like, my family dynamics are different than yours.
Yeah,
they will always be different than yours. I was like, I said, blood does not define family to me because my blood is trash and my family is top shelf. I was like, Adam and Joe are more uncles to my children than any real uncle on this planet, to include her son. Not that he's bad, but I was like, and I just wanted any real uncle. I overemphasized, and I was like, she was like, I was like, my kids, my siblings probably don't even know all three of their names. I was like fucking Adam and Joe come over, they fuck with them, they have nicknames for them, like they're jumping in their arms, they're picking up. Joe will sit there and talk to him about some nonsense for 20 minutes. Where I'm like, Joe, who are you here to hang out with? Yeah, I was like, so I was like, that is paramount for you to understand. And I also said to her, I was like, there's something I've been thinking about recently, which is true, that I'm not bad at relationships. I'm actually quite good at relationships. Most of my relationships are fairly long lasting, and I probably have more long lasting relationships than anyone I know because I do put the work in. I will call, I will text, I will send you happy birthdays, I will check on your kids, I will. So how many long relationships do you have that aren't blood? Because obviously blood matters to you. So where are your buddies? And I was, you know what I mean? Because I was like, I'm not bad at this. I'm good at this. So there's some issue that we're having where we can't get on the same page. But
any response?
Nothing. You know, she was like, well, you know, she said, I often feel like I'm walking on eggshells with you. Like, I don't know how you're going to react to what I say, which I'm sure is because of the vasectomy conversation and a few other ones. You know, I leaned on her one time pretty heavy.
A few.
Yeah. Well, the one time where she wanted Laura to mend her relationship with her brother. And I was just like, I got tired of hearing it. And I was like, hey, he's not Rome and all roads don't lead to him.
I think I was out around for that one.
No, I was coming back from the beach and she was like, well, if I'm not welcome here, just let me out on the side of the road. And I was like, I'm not going to let you out on the side of the road, idiot.
Super.
No, I don't.
Super.
But, you know, now at the same time, let me say this positive wise. I told her, I was like, I opened this. I was like, look, this is something I want you to know. I think the world of you as a mother and as a grandmother. I think that you do an absolutely phenomenal job. I know that you would do anything for my wife or my kids at the drop of a dime. I think the world of you in that regard. Mother-in-law is a different opinion, but I respect and think highly of you in these specific roles. And I think she was taken back by that because I think she thought I just fucking hate her guts. I don't hate her guts.
Yeah. No, and you've spoken highly in regards to that all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that was step one. We're supposedly going to try to do dinner once a month. So Nerd Rage listeners, you have plenty more entertaining stories to. But what
that would conclude chapter 1.
But she asked, like, what do you need for me to feel such? And I was like, for one, I need you to feel interested in my life because I don't think you are. I don't think you care. I do care. And I was like, okay. I'm just saying I don't feel like you do because let me give you an example. When my wife and I go to West Virginia and sit with my dad asks me, how's work? Regular things that you ask a person, like that you would ask anybody at a coffee line.
Did you know that the weather was coming in the eastern seaboard?
That storm, Bob. That storm's coming right off the eastern seaboard. I'd be careful. And I was like, and the rest of the time, he spends talking to her, to my wife, about, did you get any help at work? How are things with the yoga? How are things with the such? Yeah. My dad is invested in my wife's life. You're not. You know, and she's like, well, I know you do a podcast. And I was like, look, just stop.
Ask her if she knows your favorite Star Wars character.
Right.
Yeah, but that could change depending on the time.
It could be one spot or several. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I can tell you nothing changed from that conversation through the rest of the evening.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take...
Absolutely.
You got habits. You got 20 years of habits.
I agree.
That's a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Who else?
So I told her that, too. You keep saying stuff. It keeps... Yeah. So I was like, look, I understand that you wouldn't want me with your daughter when I was 15 years old. I probably wouldn't want me with mine.
Yeah.
But people grow. People change. People evolve. I'm not the same person I was then.
Yeah.
And secondly, I want you to be crystal clear on this. Your daughter was not on the same path she was after she met me as she was before she met me. She was hanging out with a highly questionable group of folks that I told her was unacceptable if she wanted anything to do with me. You know, and I'm not saying that I'm responsible for how her life turned out. I'm just saying that she was on one path before me and she was on a different path after me. And I'm not sure what bumps in the first path she would have had to possibly get to this end goal where she is now had I not intervened. So even though I was not a upstanding citizen and ate all my vegetables and said my prayers every night, I've never been a bad person.
Right.
You know.
And I mean, how many people they're out there? I know a few, but like how many people are with their high school sweetheart, married for 22 years with 3 kids, and everything, you know, house, everything great. Like, should be thankful if you have your kid.
I agree.
With, you know, shit.
So that's good, man.
Yeah,
that's big. Have you? So that's kind of a big step. Have you like reflected any of your other relationships, or that's just like the main one that you're focusing on now?
In regard to her family?
Well, just anything. You know, just anything about what we talked about on the podcast.
I'm trying. So I got a number of things I'm trying to change right now. I'm trying to change this relationship with her mother, but I'm not willing to sacrifice much for it other than my time.
I think you're going in the right direction with that.
Yeah.
You know, And to tell you that, well, there it is. There I am. Hello there.
There you are, Peter.
Yeah. Oh, there you are, Peter. So sad. And that's a big mountain to climb.
Right. I'm trying to
Mount
change.
St. Helen pun. Totally.
I'm trying to change my disposition with strangers.
Okay.
You know, where I am,
Dude, I'm excited.
where I'm more open.
Yeah.
You know, and less guarded.
What about no free refills on soda?
Well, I don't drink soda anymore.
Oh, so I'm taking you out for steak dinner.
There you go. And then, you know, and then at work, I am going to be safer.
Yeah.
And
Good.
that is
No more cowboy mopping.
no boy cowboy mopping. No boy cowboy. No more cowboy mopping.
Dude, no boy cowboy sounds like a fucking anime, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
That's just a cow, isn't it?
Yeah. But, you know, because I mean, you take some of that stuff for granted, you know, and you start, at first when you start playing with the chemicals,
Yeah.
you're like, oh my God, this could kill me. And then after a couple years of playing with the chemicals,
Slopping
you're
it
like,
all
I got
around.
this shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Fucking scrubbing electrical sockets with a wet mop.
You
Don't
know,
care.
But I actually was in a chemical situation just 2 days ago. And,
Oh, really?
And I was like, I was on my way to do something I would have done 1,000 times.
Really?
And I stopped and I said, let me get a hand.
Okay.
I need a hand.
Good.
And I wouldn't have done that before, but it's something that I'm trying to change. So I'm working on a lot.
You are.
Intermittent fasting still?
I'm about to stop that shit.
Fasting.
Yeah, 'cause it's not helping. I think it's hindering, and
It might not be working
yeah.
for you.
It doesn't work for
Is the gas going away though?
no,
Really?
no.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
Probably deal with it.
yeah. But
I wonder if it's a microbiome thing. Like it's
I haven't eaten it yet. I'm fine.
and I think
Yeah.
I'm sloppy with my eating choices because I'm
You're so hungry.
so fucking
Oh,
hungry.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Maybe. Yeah.
And I don't have a super high metabolism anyway, so I think just eating smaller portions throughout the day is I think my body's hanging on for dear life. Like, don't spend anything.
I got off the wagon a little bit last week. What was going on? Just fucking busy, dude. So fucking busy. But I'm back on it today, so I feel.
Leia's
I feel better.
birthday, and also the day of the funeral. I didn't have the strength.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man. You know what the thing, I think the most important thing is just listen to your body.
Yeah.
Like the more like, if I eat this, I feel like shit. If I eat this, I feel good. If I don't eat this, I'm good to go. I feel more alert. Just listen to your body. I think that if we can get in tune, I don't want to sound all hippy dippy bullshit, but everybody's different.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Oh, there's that new. Have you seen that new? I think it's called GUNNin. It's like a.
That's how light your light bulbs are.
No. That is that too.
Oh, you would
it might be.
know.
I think it is called Lumen. I think it's called
Daylight
Lumen.
bulb.
Let's say a little. It's a little stick, and you blow into it.
You have
It's
my
connected-
attention.
and it instantly calculates your metabolism based on the CO2 in your breath to your smartphone. So it tells you when to eat, and like if you're about to work out, it'll say eat this, and whatever. But it like I was looking at it like, man, that's kind of cool. But it was talking about the science, how everybody's different. That's why the diet that you're on works phenomenal. And then like if you try it, it might be trash.
Work, yeah.
You know,
All right, let's save it and get into the news.
do this.
Yes.
All right, and we're back.
All right. So I wanted to do an impersonation real quick. I want to drink your streams. How's that? Was that all right? No. The Castlevania trailer for season 2 on Netflix.
Bangarang Rufio.
I think it looks good.
Yeah.
Did you see the first?
I just couldn't.
It was slow as
It
fuck.
was slow.
Yeah.
It was slow and it was short. It was 6 episodes
I think it was 4 episodes.
or something like that.
Yeah.
But like so the amount of story versus time is not.
Yeah,
It's not the
like
same.
I was kind of like, this is fucking trash. But if we had to go through that to what we're about to get into, I'm fucking down.
I think it was just there to generate enough interest to make sure they didn't spend a bunch of money on something that's going to fail. But also, if they edited it down to like 2 episodes, it'd probably be good. I think a lot of anime, for you at least, Bobby, like you would like them
Pacing.
a lot more if they were just edited
Better
shorter.
paced.
Yeah.
I think you do. It's like drinking red wine. When you first have it, the tannins are just too much. Like ugh. But after a while, you get it. You acquire the taste, and I think you need to acquire. What are you picking on the back of your ear?
I got some dry skin.
Let
or
me
something.
see. Now I'm curious.
You like dry skin.
You acquire the pacing, and I'm fine with it now. I can like get. there is something about anime where I can just build up to it. I can kind of sit there and just chill with it, and just let like kind of marinate in it, not like pay attention, but not like be hyper alert and just kind of like grow and when like think to myself and kind of have a conversation about like I wonder what's going on here,
Right.
And I wonder what's going on there. I wonder if this like because there seems to be more like little mysteries that are planted in it until you understand the rules of the world, and I do love understanding the rules of the world. So that's one thing I gravitate to in regards to that.
I do like the premise, or at least from the trailer, what the premise seems to be. Like, Dracula taking out the revenge of his wife on humanity, and, the son is the only force that stands in his way.
Out of COD.
Like, I'm good with that. Like,
I mean, they picked the best
It's
game.
Castlevania 3, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Is it 3 or 2?
But yeah.
He said it's Castlevania 3, too.
32.
32. It's actually the 32nd one. But yeah, I think
there have been 32 of them.
Probably
All the
all
Game
side
Boy and
spin-offs.
Game Gear.
I think it
Game Gear. Fucking
it has
dumb.
my attention. I'll say that. I'm not turned off by it, and I'm not sure if it's the juice is worth the squeeze, so to speak, for me to go back and watch the first season to be up.
I think you'll be.
I think you just
you'll
need
be fine.
just read a summary of what happened.
You'll be fine. There'll be some kind of summary at the beginning of the season, I guarantee.
Also, real quick, just as a side note, like there was some shit going. The Weinstein Company is going bankrupt.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
Yeah. So there's all this shit that's tied up in their company is kind of
Out for grabs.
it's up for grabs. It's being renegotiated. It's being bought. It's being sold. It's like the crack cocaine of entertainment at the moment.
Wow.
And one of the things that was on the chopping block was Sin City, and however the shit worked out, the TV and movie rights are going back to Frank Miller.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's good.
The question is, do we need more?
I'm up
Or
for it.
is he gonna be around long enough to do anything with it?
That too. We still don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
Something's going on.
Yeah.
It sounds. I'd be up for more. Having read them, there's more story to tell.
Yeah.
But there's such a big time gap between them. Like,
And I
it's
feel
keeping
like
everybody on board.
I feel like the second one just didn't in the theater. It was good, but for some reason it just felt
It didn't have the impact. It's kind of like when
yeah.
you do up close magic once. It's like woo, but then you do it.
That's
It's
a good
almost
analogy.
it's almost like it's the same up close magic trick. Like, what card is your card? And it's like, oh fuck, I did choose the 3 of hearts. And they're like, okay, well now we're gonna try this one. Now what card is your card? And it's like, oh yeah, I did choose the 6 of diamonds, but we kind of just did this, but it's just a different card.
Yeah.
I mean, what makes the first one part of what made the first one so good was it was so different from anything else.
Yeah.
So different, and it has that hyper Frank Miller noir style, and I don't mean just in visually, but just that like, it sounds
the tone.
not even so much the tone as well, but like just that like in Frank Miller's world, like men are men, women are women, like we wear trench coats and we smoke cigarettes and we drink only whiskey because we're men, and with becoming a man also becomes a badass. And if you're a female, you're also going to be a badass, but you're also going to be sexy, and you're also like, it's just this very like, and there's no man in any Frank Miller book that drives like a Prius. Like, that man doesn't exist.
Right.
Like everybody has like a fucking monster car or a truck or a souped up fucking something, like
Classic something.
Yeah,
in the second movie too, the city seemed too much like a normal city from my recollection.
that I don't recall as much, but
yeah,
I
the city was almost like this monster in the first one.
yes, definitely.
But in the second one, it seemed like it was a normal city. And like you weren't buying as much the attitude of the city that was kind of mysterious in the background. I don't know.
I had the same kind of reaction with, and also another Miller thing was like the first 300. It was so different, so visually appealing. Like, I still watch it now.
I've never seen the second one.
I saw the second one,
Yeah.
but it's like trying to do the same thing twice, but it's just not. It's not going to be the same as the original.
Capturing lightning in the bottle.
yeah. Have you heard the expression 30 is the new 20?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard the expression firing is the new hiring? Because that's becoming a thing.
Yeah.
So firing is the new hiring part 1 is Chad Hardwick.
Chris Hardwick.
Chris Hardwick. who was let go because of all the sexual harassment stuff. Or it was a girlfriend that came out and said it was like an abusive relationship,
But
mentally and emotionally
she lied or
abusive.
something?
The thing is,
Who is Chris Hardwick again?
Chris Heartbreak. He's he's a heartthrob.
he's not. He is a creator of the Nerdist. Is a huge like media emperor. That
Is this-
he
is-
does Talking Dead. He does a lot. He did talk shows.
Yeah. Now,
About
okay.
nerd stuff. He goes to cover
Now,
cons and stuff like that.
I heard about this. This is the one that said all this bullshit, and then come to find out, there's like videotape of her saying how great he was and how she was sick and like by her side, and she had like some mental health issues, and so it was all garbage.
I don't know the ins and outs.
We don't know if. Here's the problem. She wrote a blog about how to move, like you move on from abusive relationship and how like things look different after you're out of it. And she listed a lot of things that happened to her and events that happened to her, in her words, that I mean, she'd never named him, but enough information that everyone can point their finger at him. Right. So, and then everyone just assumed that she was telling the truth and that he's this asshole. And then he got let go. And then he didn't just sit there and take it. So he started pulling up old texts and how she cheated on him and he dumped her and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. So like AMC did their own independent investigation or something and find this like, that's not substantiated. Yeah. We're gonna put him back.
Well, so I think the takeaway from this, and maybe with this Smoking Gun, is that the court of public opinion
needs to shut the fuck up.
Well, no, I mean, people are people. They're going to talk. But everyone needs to be reminded it's not actually a real court.
Yeah, we need due process.
It's fugazi. It's just a thing.
And you can't just take people's word at the word. I mean, it could be, she could have been a victim and it would be a different story. But
yeah, if you really hurt my feelings right now, when Laura gets home, I'm going to paint a very inaccurate picture of who you are.
You're going to tell a villain story.
Yeah. I'm not going to tell how you were over my house last week spending 8 hours with me a day just to give me company because I was going through a phase, which I'll never forget.
It's not that big a deal, bro.
But I'm going to say, do you know, here's Joe's problem. Joe doesn't give a shit about how people feel. Joe doesn't get, he said, you know what he said to me? He said I look like Uncle Fester. he said it's as if Uncle Fester and the actual Christopher Lloyd had a child. But like, it's just like this. The court of public opinion is fine. It's always been there. It's always been a thing. The problem is when you let the court of public opinion become the real court.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I have no problem with investigation being done, find out the truth, and then fire people who are fucking abusive or whatever it is that they are.
There's probably
calculated. It seems so calculated on her part to like name every she has no liability because she never said his name, right? And she said all this shit about this guy right before SDCC and his shows are renewing all this stuff. It seems like a revenge move, even though she said it wasn't.
You know what I also blame? I kind of blame the media that are so hungry to tell the next story that they don't do their facts anymore, and they'll put out liable bullshit.
One of the things that was mentioned in that article that I always like, and I'm paraphrasing, I'm not trying to turn it up, I'm not trying to turn it down for anybody listening. I'm not trying to put any kind of spin on it. I'm just trying to paint a picture. Yeah. But she was sick, or she was in the hospital for something. Yeah. And then like after she had like a surgery.
She had like something with her uterus.
Yes. So right after the surgery, supposedly he said like, so when can I hit that? Yeah. And like when I read that, like I was like, oh, that's not very compassionate. Like that's the kind of thought. But then I was like, you know what, dude?
I make the same
if
joke.
My wife had it because of the relationship my wife and I had. Yeah. Like I could be like, hey, you looking pretty good in the hospital gown. You know what I'm saying? Like and she would laugh. Yeah. And it's not because I wouldn't say
feel wanted.
I wouldn't say it to a stranger. Yeah. Because it would be inappropriate. But my wife and I have shared experiences in a relationship where she would understand that talk wasn't hurtful. It wasn't meant to be hurtful. It was meant to make her laugh. Yeah.
And I think he is a comedian. I think
I think so.
Yeah.
So
and the other thing,
and I'm not trying to make him out to be a hero either. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not a fan of his either. I'm not coming to his defense.
I don't even know who the fuck he is. Yeah.
I know. I mean, I've seen this show before. It's like that Talking Dead.
It comes on
no,
after
I've seen like blips from like little
Yeah,
clips from the show,
yeah,
but
yeah.
if he walked past me in the Columbia Mall, I would have no idea who he was.
Gotcha.
Maybe I would now because of all the hubbub and shit, you know.
Yeah.
But in general, no. So I don't have like a dog in the fight. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Gotcha.
Well, I mean, there's something else that's recent that has exactly to do with
the
this.
gun.
I want to get back to that.
Yeah.
Because I want to try to paint a picture with that one. Because I agree with you, but that's another example of the court of public opinion, and like we talked about last week, like the art of forgiveness being lost. But
Yeah, you know what? I will say this though.
Mhm.
Somebody got me with this one. I don't know if I should wait to say this or not. But I kind of feel like I'm going to forget about it. But
well, if you want to move into the conversation, we can.
yeah. See, here's the thing. So somebody brought up about the Roseanne thing, and they're like, "Did you think that Roseanne needed to be fired?" And I was like, "I don't know. Probably, maybe, you know." And like, "Do you think that James Gunn needs to be fired?" I was like, "Nah, this should happen." 6 years ago or 10 years ago. I was like, but do you think what he said was worse than Roseanne? And I'm like, listen, I don't care what anybody says if you're a comedian. You know what I mean? Like, part of me wants you to be able to say what you want to say.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you got to, be held liable for your words. So if that's what it is. But like, I did walk away from the conversation and be like, but I do want James Gunn to be back. Like I really don't care what he says.
And
I don't give a fuck about Roseanne.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
no, there's definitely bias.
Yeah, so I definitely feel like, fuck, dude. Like what she said was not good. It was inappropriate. But like it wasn't some pedophile shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I was wondering if there's a difference because he was making fucking awful jokes, obviously, but he was also not attacking any one person to be specific.
Yeah,
right?
I hear you.
I don't know. Like I'm at a gray area in this.
too.
No, I mean,
like
worse because she attacked a specific person.
Yeah, I hear you.
Because you can see, she's
well, like see, like some of that stuff. Like if you start pursuing it, to the nth degree,
yeah,
it can get the waters get murky.
Yeah.
Like so.
It was like what the line is. It's just I don't know what the line is.
Right. So one of the comments that she made was the monkey.
It was like what's her face looked like Planet of the Apes met the Muslim Brotherhood or some shit like that.
So that's where my monkey thing is.
Yeah.
So now because monkeys, apes, and all that has been this super racist, derogatory thing used towards black people
right.
to literally make them feel subhuman.
Right.
It's a terrible thing to say.
Right.
However, if it was me, and they said you look like obviously the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, did you say?
Like, if you look like a gorilla mixed with Uncle Fester,
right? Then it doesn't carry this, right?
Yeah.
But what if? Like
and she said that she didn't even know she was black or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, which who
pictures,
knows? No, but
it's questionable because it doesn't look like a.
But regardless, like it sounds like a ass saving thing to me.
Yeah.
But like if you were to say to me, like you look like a gorilla, obviously it doesn't carry the same racial connotations and all those sorts of things. But what I'm saying is that people of all races, of all everything, can favor other things. Like that is possible. Yeah. Okay. Like, do you know what I'm saying? So, and it doesn't always have to have a racial connotation to it. However, you should also be sensitive of such things and be able to have some sort of filter in there to, because I think even if she said something like that and was like, oh, fuck, wait, let me be clear. I don't mean anything like that, but with the gun thing, it's so vague, but it is so terrible.
And it's also 10 years ago he previously apologized for it.
Right. And here's another thing is, Roseanne does also have like a history of this sort of behavior as well.
She's ill. She's mentally ill and she's erratic as fuck.
Right. Dude, that one looks like Michael Jackson. Like,
it does look like Michael Jackson,
especially when she has her hair wet.
Yeah,
like it has a little curl.
But see, is that racist?
Yeah. See, exactly. Like, so I've said this before, and I'll say it on the podcast. I don't mean it in any sort of racial way, but the female ape in Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes, when she gets out of the water, they had to cross this water. She has to ride on a horse or something. She's scared of it, the whole bit. When she gets out, her hair is wet and it's like curly in the front. And like she does favor Michael Jackson, like, and not
Because Michael Jackson doesn't have a nose.
Michael Jackson doesn't have a nose. There's a number of contributing factors. It has nothing to do with this historical racist connotation.
Right. It's just that literally they look
right. It's just that there's a similarities here. Like if you put both of their faces at that point on a computer and scanned it, like the similarities might be like 66% or some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is crazy.
So, but at the same time, it's like this is another thing where you're guilty in the court of public opinion, and you're paying the consequences. And this guy has already apologized before getting caught.
Yeah, a long time ago.
You know that. And we have to be,
and apparently Disney even knew about it. You know, like,
and it was also brought to attention by someone who was looking for something on him.
Yeah.
It was someone on the far right, I think.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know who it was. You know, I mean, I haven't researched that much, but apparently, you know, he made some political comments.
He
got
Mickey
into a political argument. Yeah, Mickey did drop his name. So this guy like brought this up. You know. They actually even gave Ben Shapiro somebody's giving other people from the right are giving Ben Shapiro shit about it.
Cernovich.
Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's just you know, like there has to be some. Like I don't know, man. We've all said terrible shit in our lives. We've all said shit we didn't mean. We've all said shit that was, you know what I mean, like. There has to be some wiggle room. There has to be
forgiveness.
Like you know, like there's song lyrics that I've sung along to when I was a teenager that I probably wouldn't sing along to now. I can still jam out to the record, but I'm like, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that because it doesn't feel right to me anymore. You know, but it felt right to me at the time, and it like there's just got to be some. There's got to be this gray area, and there has to be.
It's different when like someone gets caught and then there's repercussion and then they apologize versus. This is a past thing that's already been passed, and he's already apologized. It's not like he's worried about the public opinion and he's apologizing for it. He's just like,
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I thought you were natural pausing. Let me ask you this though. It does one thing that this has taught me though. I will say recently, I've been starting to be very careful in my words because words do have power. Like words do. It's like speak.
Volumes?
Creation. No, I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they like, and there's a certain magic to them, you know, and they can,
consequences.
Yeah, they can create and they can destroy.
Yeah.
So there is something that's been going in my head here recently. Like, be specific and intentional in your words. Like, and even this podcast, I mean, this is a comedy podcast.
Right.
This is entertainment. It's not very good entertainment at times. But I mean, there's an aspect, and we've talked about this before, there's an aspect of this podcast that we are very legitimate. This is an intimate view in our friendship, but there's also an aspect of hamming it up.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
And like, there's also like
because we're hams.
Right.
First off.
Right. Well,
ridiculous.
I'll come into a room and I'll say ridiculous shit just to get people, like, almost as an icebreaker.
Yeah.
You know, like,
you're an entertainer
and a driver and a flyer.
Jada hates that shit.
I know she hates. But like, I'll, just like, so when I feel like the expectations are for me to perform, I want to give you what you want. Mm-hmm. It doesn't necessarily represent my true values.
Of course.
Yeah. It's just like, I'm saying this because we both know it's funny.
Yeah.
And we both don't live our life this way, or that wouldn't be funny.
It's a joke.
It's like collecting is my crack. It's like I'm doing my crack. But like, I don't actually mean it's like crack. I'm not selling copper out of my house to get toys. Yeah.
And you can say some pretty. So I'm working a new spot, and my two guys I work with. Well, there's three people I work with. One's African American female, and two African American men. So one of the dudes, he went to his physical recently, and his doctor is talking about. So one of the guys has got diabetes, right?
Diabetes,
and we're always fucking with him about, I got to work on my diabetes, right? And the other guy, he's got a really dark back of his neck, and apparently that's a precursor to diabetes. But like, he wasn't trying to hear that shit. So like that'd get to be the new joke around the office. Like, God damn, man, the back of your neck dark as fuck. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then one dude came in here, came in today. He's like, brothers, what's up? And now I was like, brother, dog neck. Like this because
Right.
we're doing like that the Charlie Murphy show.
Right, darkness.
And dude, we just started rolling. If anybody else came into that conversation and been like, what the fuck did you just say to him?
Right. Because
It'd have been over for me.
yeah, I mean, like we had Evan when we had Evan out to talk about Black
Yeah.
Panther, and I asked Evan like, "Oh, you're a husky?" You know, like that's an odd choice. You know, and then he said, "I like owning big white things." You know, like obviously, I know he doesn't want to own white people. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I know that. It's within the context of the conversation.
Didn't he have Namor serving? Like his
It was
toy?
Black Bolt.
Oh yeah.
Because he had to buy the whole wave to get the Build-A-Figure. And I was like, what are you going to do with Black Bolt? He's going to be serving them all tea. Motisa. So like, you know, but the context, the truth
context
lies
is
in the
important.
context.
Yeah,
Like
It's nuance.
he doesn't want to own white people. He doesn't think that white people should be servants. He just is making a joke on an established relationship level where he knows that I won't take him seriously and I'll be laughing, and he won't take it seriously and he'll be laughing, and we can have this moment.
Yeah,
but that's what a lot of life is.
Closer together.
That's what a lot of life is. But if you look at some of this shit on paper and you try to make a judgment call on it, you may be well fucking wrong.
On the Joe Rogan, they mentioned it. If you print out a transcript of an comedy hour and you just read it out of context, it's fucking horrible.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. I don't know. I don't know how much more we had to say about it, but I did.
So where are we at right now? Are we glad is he back officially?
James Gunn?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
But
He's
I was
not
a
back.
huge like
So-
basically I know all the cast.
Yeah, they signed
all
a
the
letter about how much they love it.
So the Guardians cast and crew wrote had someone write a letter, and then they all signed it. Not all of them, but a fair amount signed it. And I can give you the names.
Who
of your-
didn't sign it?
I don't know. I can tell you who did
Who
sign
didn't
it.
sign that shit? Son
Who's
of
not a
bitch.
team player.
Yeah.
And then there's rumors that they might be back in negotiations of coming back on. But
Okay.
So what about the Venom trailer? Did you guys see that this week?
Looks fine.
Oh yeah, I've watched it several times. I've watched that trailer more than any other trailer I've watched here recently.
Is it because you're trying to decide how you feel about it?
Yes. So, the first off, name's Eddie Brock. I can't stand his accent. Like
Maybe it'll grow on you.
it may be, but like it just seems over the top. So that's my first thing. Oh, sorry, I got a parasite. You know, he's like doing John Travolta. You know what I mean? You know, it's like I will touch penis.
This should be your new character, man.
Dude, that's what it sounds like, man. Oh my god.
I mean,
Venom can't go around killing people, man.
Bane threw me the fuck off when I first heard it, but then it really grew on me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and like I like the dude. He's a great actor. I don't want to take anything away from him, but it's just like it's off-putting. You know.
So I'll tell you what's off-putting to me.
Go ahead.
The little jokes that are in the trailer.
I'm gonna bite off your legs and your hands and your
Actually,
face.
that one-
You'd be a faceless, legless, armless thing.
That one
as
actually
it
doesn't-
rolled down the
That
street
one doesn't bother me.
like a piece of poop.
What does he say? Piece of poop?
Yes.
Okay, because I had a hard time understanding his voice. That was
Like a
another.
piece of poop. Poop, Bobby. It's a poop joke.
Yeah. See, I couldn't.
Listen to me right now.
So that was.
I'm not going to stand here and let you back a poop
I'm not.
joke.
I'm not backing it. I'm not
Okay,
backing it.
okay.
I just.
I will throw my headset down and leave the room.
I'm going to get to my second complaint before I get to my first complaint. I have a hard time understanding the Venom voice.
Yeah. I don't dislike it.
I don't dislike it either, but I didn't hear all of that. And even when he says you'll be a faceless, legless, armless thing, is that what he says?
Yeah.
I can't hear that word. I
Okay.
can't decipher that word.
Yeah.
But I have a hard time understanding the voice. Secondly, the jokes like after that, where he's like, sorry, here's
Got a parasite.
keep the I got a parasite. Yeah, that it's
Yeah.
like that doesn't seem like the tone seems pretty serious to me in the trailer, but those jokes don't match that tone. I can't imagine that type of joke in Nolan's movies, which I feel like they're kind of going for tone wise.
I don't know if that scene is back to back.
No, me neither.
He might be
Sure.
in there earlier.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Good
So
night.
I hope.
Good night, Mrs. So and So. Whatever like.
Yeah. Night, Mrs. Chan. I didn't touch penis. Oh my god.
Oh my god. But
I got you.
I like the symbiote. I like the symbiote like action. Like it all works for me.
Yeah, I mean, he looks
looks
good.
pretty good.
He looks beefy enough, which I like.
15 pounds, man.
That's what it
He's
is.
a beast anyway.
I don't. He's a little feller.
Yeah, but he's a beast.
Little.
Like his,
Do you know all the?
not for nothing, so to speak, ahead of time. That dude's traps are that shit is a
Dude,
that shit like when,
I'm
if you
jealous.
were to step on his trap, it would have the teeth, the bear claw teeth that came up and grabbed your foot. Like it's a real trap in his trap.
It's a 420.
It's an activated bear trap in his trap.
I don't like the white. Like it looks like lightning, like white lightning. White lightning. Like going around the symbiote.
It's my dick's
Like,
nickname.
They don't. Because you come so quick.
Sometimes.
Shame in your game. Like they want to do some kind of accent of not having the white patches and the white spider symbol. So it's like this like white string like all over them.
Yeah.
I just think it'd been better if they just kept it black. It's all black.
All black.
You know, because you don't need like
I don't know.
The eyes-
It's not visually interesting enough if he's just all black. other
yeah.
than the face.
I don't know how I feel like the giant blades. Like he's like doing like
Oh, I
the-
like that where he's like,
yeah.
yeah, but it's just too much.
it is
man.
it is a lot.
It's like so like I wouldn't mind him having some blades, but like that big, like it's like a 50-foot room he's chopping. It's ridiculous.
yeah, but
there needs to be some.
I'm
limit.
okay with that.
I
I
would
hear
do
you.
that if I had the power. I'd be ridiculous
like
with it.
I'm okay with it. I like the seduction of the
Yeah.
symbiote. to it.
Eddie.
Yeah, like in talking to him and like
Look
you know,
into my eyes.
like just go with it. Just go with it.
Yeah.
you know, like this is what we're doing now. We're a team. Like I dig all that. Like
I like the part where he's like that power isn't horrible or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
That was tight. See, I like that. I don't know if I liked like when he was in there and it was like shifting. It was like there was like phasing.
Yeah.
that was weird.
And I'm not. There's another scene where he starts to turn like the black is like coming out of his eyeballs. It's like and it's like I like it better when it seems like it's like this gelatinous thing that
Yeah.
like forms over him. I prefer that.
Yeah. So the other thing too is like I always liked it mimicking clothes. I don't like it as much like going into his body, like into his pores.
It makes
You know
more
what I mean?
sense as a symbiote, as a parasite. Like
That's true.
that is
You know
it's
what I
part
mean?
of him. You can't
No,
remove it.
I'm
you know?
tracking. I'm
Yeah.
tracking. But like at the same point, it's like I don't know if I like it being the Guyver. It feels like the Guyver.
I love the Guyver.
I love the
That's
Guyver
part of the
too.
difference.
I love the Guyver too.
I love MacGyver.
I mean, the first MacGyver,
Very
not
resourceful.
this new
don't
MacGyver,
understand it.
not Mac 2.0.
Like sidebar though, I was fucking disappointed Mark Hamill wasn't the Guyver in the first movie, in the live action movie, not the anime. Like I was tricked into thinking Mark Hamill was going to be the Guyver because Mark Hamill was billed as a guy in the movie, and they had like his face with the Guyver. Face.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
But then you go in and like, I think Mark Hamill dies shortly there after. Like,
Maybe,
within, like,
probably.
the first 15 minutes. It was
They're
some other
like,
dude. And I
they're
was
like, look, Mark, we've got $200. What do we get? He's like, what? And he's like, that's right, 200 big ones. And he just pats him on the table. Pats the $200.
It's your face. I like so all the other scenes, and the other thing too, I'm kind of pissed. I think the guy talking about the planet, or whatever, he's gonna be Carnage, and I don't like that. I want Cassidy to be fucking batshit crazy,
Yeah.
So that like I'm kind of like, God damn it. But then at that point, like it doesn't matter now, So it's like it's Venom, but it's not Venom.
Yeah, well, that's that. Like the actual hardware is what I need to work because I'm in for the tone, I'm in for the look, so I need the hardware to be right, and I think I might be in.
Yeah, but I like this.
Bring on the Silver Sable.
Yeah, I think this is, like that issue you had with Ego being Star Lord's father.
Yes.
This is that taken to the nth degree.
Yeah,
I feel
it
like.
could be. It could be. It could be.
But if it's a fun romp, it's a fun romp.
And I don't know the connective tissue yet.
Yeah, and I don't hate it. And what I said to you, what did I say is like,
It might be really good or it might be too
no,
rad.
I think I said this might be too raff or this might be really awesome. I think was my exact words. So, I mean, and I did like that part when it pulled the face away, like we are Venom.
Yeah.
So I do want to see that. Is the one thing that I'm a little worried about is I think that the symbiote is too sentient on its own, which I don't like. Like I would.
It's almost like that voice in the back of your head. You know, that's how it should be.
But the voice needs to be both of their voices together. You know what I mean? Like the symbiote and Eddie's voice. So like the symbiote's tapping into like the dark aspects of it. It's like magnifying that.
I agree.
So Venom is the voice of both of them, not just the symbiote. And
yeah.
it feels very just a symbiote.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we'll see.
Yeah, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either.
There are this one article is the one that I do want to read.
Let me stop it here though.
Okay.
All right.
So the only reason why I want to read this, these are all the rumors circulating
If
around.
the stopping is upsetting you guys, what you can do is you can go on to Patreon, become a patron, and help us buy a new computer.
This is
and learn how
all
to
of
use
the
this mixing board.
the scandals, rumors, etc., related and circling around the New Mutants and Dark Phoenix.
Oh man, hold on a second.
Yeah. So the original plan for New Mutants was envisioned as an R-rated adventure focusing on a handful of mutants as they adjusted to life within the X-Mansion. It was supposed to follow tonally in the footsteps of Deadpool, and it would have put the focus on your typical teenage shenanigans, showing a different side of life to the home of the X-Men. It said that the sequel would have been a little darker, and it would have kicked off the team attempting to escape a military bunker. The first installment, though, would have been very faithful to the comics and was set to feature the Sentinels in a major set piece. But the studio said it was too expensive.
Okay.
So, also don't get excited for Demon Bear. It said it was around the time that the studio said it would be too expensive that Josh Boone stepped in and offered the studio a totally different take on the New Mutants. The filmmaker reportedly has little to no interest in comic books and simply wanted to make a horror movie with superheroes, resulting in a relatively generic affair, something which was evident from the teaser trailer and the tepid response it received from, well, everyone.
Yeah.
Despite warnings from those involved with the movie that this concept wasn't well suited to the characters, Boone continued and the New Mutants quickly veered further and further away from the source material, with the horror elements far outweighing the superhero elements. The Demon Bear, originally envisioned as the main antagonist, had his role cut and is now just part of a sole action scene. Disastrous test screenings. Test screenings were a disaster, and the only good thing about the rough cut is said to be the cast's strong performances. About those reshoots. Despite initial reports and that reshoots were taking place to make the movie scarier, those were actually ordered to add a little more heart and humor. A possible role for Logan's X-23. As the movie was retooled, Boone became the director pretty much in name alone, and while we won't see superhero costumes, it does appear as if it will be closer than what the fans would expect to the comics. Interestingly, it's said that the new character who was added is actually Logan's X-23. While there was also going to be a subplot featuring Colossus attempting to find his sister Ileana, unfortunately that was scrapped, but it does sound as if the clawed mutant will indeed be making an appearance here, X-23.
I wish they used the same actress from Logan.
I think that was their intent.
That's cool. That'd be cool.
If they did have Colossus, would you want a Deadpool Colossus?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good.
Just to be in universe.
Just to
Yep.
Oh, that'd,
just
yeah,
make sure we're on the same
yeah.
page.
Yeah.
Disney isn't happy with the movies either. They're let's see. There are a number of people within both studios who believe it would be better to just write both of these movies off at this stage rather than spending millions of dollars on reshoots and post-production work to try to salvage them.
I mean, how much money they've already spent on it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter to Disney, you know?
But does it matter to Fox?
But it doesn't matter. No.
Yeah, but if let's say that New Mutants is I was just talking about this with somebody. Let's say that this is a I'm having trouble downloading and streaming the 2 bonus tracks on PodBEAN.
I just got that too. On my watch.
So let's say that there was $200 million spent on, I don't know what the budgets were.
Yeah.
On both.
I think that's probably a safe underestimate.
So
Continue.
$400 million. I mean, I understand it's $73 billion, but $400 million isn't chump change still.
They would come out under the if they come out, they would come out under the Disney logo, right?
I don't know.
The thing is, I don't know. I was thinking,
Yeah,
if I was Disney,
once Disney bought it, that happened last Friday, right?
Well, the shareholders approved it last
yeah,
Friday.
so it's not all the way done.
Both shareholders,
Okay.
Disney and Fox.
So they haven't signed yet?
I don't know.
Okay.
We are. I'll double check before we talk about it.
I think I would rather, if I was Disney, in my thoughts, I would rather throw away $400 million to not have something attached to my name that's going to be a blemish on the record.
But it could be in the contract that these are still Fox movies. You know,
Well,
like
then-
all of
then-
that
then-
could.
Then Disney shouldn't care.
Disney, I don't think does care, but does a $400 million loss to Fox, even with $73 billion?
Well, if
is that still a substantial amount of money?
If they're buying the whole company, they're buying the assets and the liabilities. So Disney could buy the movies and the rights and just write it off. You know what I mean?
Like, yeah, but it could also say like buying everything up in July 1st, such and such, and since this was in plans beforehand.
We don't know.
Like Predator's still coming.
We don't know the actual contract.
Like. Yeah, exactly. We don't know the ins and outs of the contract.
Yeah.
How much money would they cost to reshoot? You think?
I don't know. I don't. I get the impression this isn't reshoot material, and I also get the impression that if Disney gets all this shit, and they're not going to want anything to do with that universe.
Right.
They're going to want to do it their own way.
Except Deadpool.
Maybe.
Yeah. I would take the $400 million loss versus whatever else they have to do to try and fix shit.
Yeah. I hear you.
Continue.
Cancellation for both could be looming. So the Disney Fox shareholder vote took place and was successful. If things are approved, they both could be canceled. Both studios can easily spin this to point out that it's being done because the franchises are being rebooted for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it's going to be a very costly embarrassment. However, fans won't mourn either movie if they don't happen, so it won't be too much of a PR nightmare.
How far along with these movies? One of them is basically done?
No, they're both done.
So
they're both, like, the shooting is done.
What do you guys think of just a direct release, not in the theater?
I mean, save face, fine.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, you already did all the work. You already fucking shot the movie.
Well, that's the thing. They might not
it.
have done all the work. There might be a lot of special
Post-production.
effects.
That's why I'm wondering how far along.
I got the impression that New Mutants was pretty much done, but I don't know what the reshoots set them back.
Yeah, I mean, if there's rough cuts done, that means they had it done.
Yeah, I mean, at least just release it at that point. I feel like.
Yeah, we'll catch it on a bootleg. Somebody will release it.
So, an update on certain movies and characters. Simon Kinberg said the Gambit movie definitely isn't happening.
Oh no. Tell me it ain't so, Paul.
Psylocke, meanwhile, won't be in Dark Phoenix. Mr. Sinister isn't part of the New Mutants and never was, and as a result, we're left to assume that the villain is being saved for X-Force, but more on this in a minute.
What a cluster.
Another cameo in the New Mutants. Surprisingly, Warlock does reportedly have a cameo in the New Mutants, so that's pretty cool. Not Adam. That fella.
Oh, okay.
The Phalanx thing.
Yeah. Marvel already has big plans for two characters. Marvel Studios president Kevin
Feige
Fortnite?
Frankfurter.
Wow. Bobby.
I'm young and hip, Joe. I'm young and I'm hip. I'm both of those things wrapped into one sweet package for you.
I am literally 100% surprised you said Fortnite.
I got my finger. You know where my finger is? Right on that pulse. Right on that pulse.
Old and trash.
Marvel Studios president Kevin, you know who he is, may have claimed that he's not giving any thought to the X-Men and Fantastic Four at this stage, but this leak claims that there's already been talk of bringing Galactus and the Silver Surfer into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
They'd have to be the next big for like a.
I agree.
Phase 5.
The future of the New Mutants, X-Force. The New Mutants might or might not be moving forward, but it is said that some of the characters could be used in X-Force. Don't expect to see Anya Taylor-Joy as Magic, though, because she's reportedly had issues with someone else in the cast. As for X-23, Fox doesn't have faith in a young girl being able to carry her own R-rated movie, and while she's far from confirmed for the Ryan Reynolds-led ensemble, it does seem like a logical place for the character to appear next.
I agree.
X-Force might be safe. With the Disney-Fox merger looming, many fans have wondered if X-Force will never be released, especially as it hasn't even started shooting yet. However, it sounds like the movie will be spared from Fox's decision to cull Dark Phoenix and the New Mutants, possibly because they want to send the Merc with the Mouth off in style. And ending his trilogy the way, ending the trilogy this way achieves that. Is this a sign that Disney has no plans for the Merc with the Mouth in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? It's hard to see where the R-rated hero could fit in that world, and rebooting the X-Men and Fantastic Four will probably be Marvel's priority, despite how popular the character is. X-Force might be getting a new title, so it might not be called X-Force anymore, which was going to be the movie. It might probably be called Deadpool 3 X-Force, if they can do it before the deal is set in stone.
Oh.
The Eternals could be a game changer for the MCU. it's probably related to the Celestials. The characters will ultimately be slightly different, et cetera, et cetera. And that's pretty much it. But that's a lot.
Yeah,
That's a lot circling around that shit show. And the problem really is that this deal looks like it's going to happen at this point. Like, there doesn't seem to be any way to stop it. And what do you do with these 2 properties that you have filmed, ready to go in production, and then what do you do with Deadpool?
I wonder if they had a plan in the writing of Avengers 4 if this deal went through versus if it's not going to go through.
2 different scripts.
Yeah.
And what the fuck? I mean, who the fuck cares at Fox is another question. Like, is there anybody that has
lose sleep over it?
Has skin in the game? That's
Well,
like, look,
is Fox going to still maintain under the Disney banner?
I don't know.
So that's where like Predator will go and Aliens and shit like that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's far too soon. That's a really interesting question to kind of think about, but I don't know. I mean, I'm still curious as to whether this includes Fox News and Fox Sports, because that's been the big X factor, so to speak, to all of this, because they're the 2 most successful things that Fox has.
Yeah. I doubt that, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know.
Huh.
It's all going to be in that contract, however that shit shakes out. And then, but, while we're on the subject, we've kind of already addressed.
Yeah.
The shareholders have approved on both sides.
Nice.
So it seems like things are going to be moving forward.
It's going to happen.
Did anybody see, speaking of trailers also, did anybody see the Constantine trailer?
The anime? One? No, I did not.
It looks good.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be fun.
You might say it looks like a hell of a trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Stop it.
Yeah, hell of a guy.
And then, I don't know if you guys have been to Six Flags.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
America?
It's been a while.
But I got a whole new Batman Superman coaster for you to ride, and it's called the Emotional One. So now this Batman movie that's coming out, it doesn't sound like it's going to have anything to do with Ben Affleck.
Okay.
It's going to be under this Worlds of DC banner. May not even be connected to this universe at all, but it seems highly unlikely that Ben Affleck will have anything to do with it.
Mm-hmm. But he still might do Justice League 2.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like that's going to happen either.
Yeah.
It sounds like this world of DC is
a
there
reboot.
I guess.
Because now they're saying maybe even Henry Cavill is not going to be involved.
So getting to Henry Cavill, he looks like all. So Nolan is rebooting James Bond.
Oh,
I am good with that.
Yeah.
So now, I let me get Cody on the phone. Hello, Cody. Oh yeah, mate. What's up? How are you? I'm quite good. Can you tell me a little bit about this British connection here?
It's quite simple. You see, is Christopher Nolan. He's a good old mate, isn't he? Have a pint with him. And then there's Henry Cavill. He's also of the old Union Jack, if you will. And then there's lastly, there's Henry Cavill, and then there's Christopher Nolan, and then there's James Bond. And all of those blokes are British, really. So, I mean, in the typical joke fashion, where you wouldn't want, a white woman to play the major, so you probably don't want anyone who's not English to play.
But look, I honestly think that if you have Christopher Nolan, the powerhouse director of our era, you have James Bond, one of the biggest characters of our era, and you have Henry Cavill that wants to play him.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill may not have time for Superman.
Yeah.
Like, do I commit to this DC thing, which is not progressing my career?
Right.
Or do I commit to James Bond with Christopher Nolan?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a tough one.
I'll go with James Bond.
I think most people would.
Not me.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me see if we have any questions that we can kind of.
And
fly
no
through.
bullshit. I got on a Superman in 3 movies, even though one was very hairy lipped. I'll be all right. I'm gonna get by this. I got to wrap up though. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah.
We'll do questions next week.
Okay. Sorry, folks.
Star Wars, the Episode 9 media press. First of all, don't come gunning for RJ. He deleted 20,000. Well, he didn't delete, but he had some intern delete 20,000 tweets. Just getting ahead of the game.
Jesus Christ.
Even though I don't even think that he has anything remotely close to that
Why
ballpark.
don't people just delete Twitter?
Yeah. So the Star Wars Episode 9 big announcement. Returning cast members include Daisy Ridley, Adam Driver, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Lupita Nyong'o, Domhnall Gleeson, I think that's Hux, maybe I'm wrong, Kelly Marie Tran, Junice Suotama, and Billy Lord, who is Carrie's daughter. Joining the cast of Episode 9 are Naomi Ackie and Richard Grant, who will be joined by veteran Star Wars actors Mark Hamill, Anthony Daniels, Billy D. Williams, who will reprise his role as Lando Calrissian, and Carrie Fisher.
And Carrie Russell as well, right?
So she's mentioned later on.
Okay.
But she is mentioned, yes. So Lando's coming back, which is great. Get to see him.
Yay.
And Carrie Fisher, it's all archival footage, no digital,
Okay.
from Force Awakens.
Huh.
So I would imagine that scene that we saw with her passing the lightsaber on, that we're probably going to end up seeing that.
Yeah.
And who knows what the fuck else they have in store.
Yeah.
Kathy Kennedy's still producing it. Even though everybody's been saying she's going to be fired, they're like, look, we're going to fire you, but before you go, we're giving you the biggest movie of the decade. So,
and this is it.
let's be okay. So that's the other part of it. This is considered to be, they say, the final installment of the Skywalker saga. I just want to go on record and say that this is the third time this has been said.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
So it probably is for the next 10 years or so.
Yeah.
Playing the odds. If history has taught us anything. But I mean, they have this.
They have a limited amount of ways.
So Andy Serkis is not on that list, though.
He's not.
Yeah.
They have but even if he was, I think they might keep that one under wraps. You know?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know, because people just assume it was a flashback scene. You know what I mean?
I don't think people would assume that. I think that, like, because we can assume that about Carrie, but we're not.
Yeah, but the Carrie was alive at the end of 8.
True,
Yeah.
but I don't think that's why, though. I don't think that's why that we would assume that.
Okay.
You know, I think we'd be like, oh shit, he's back, and then you'd be like, oh shit, it's a flashback scene, you idiot. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I think it would be when you go in. But like, I think that if they announced him, and I'm not sure he's coming back either, but I think if they did announce that, it would.
Yeah.
So I think that between this Rian Johnson trilogy that's coming and then the Game of Thrones, whatever, we don't even know. That's never been officially said as a trilogy, but whatever that is, between those two things and spinoffs, like Star Wars is mapped out for the next 10 years, you know?
Yeah.
And then you might see a return to the saga.
Yeah. Maybe.
No one's ever really gone.
We'll see.
And that's it.
All right, guys.
Shout out to the Cool Table Network, Shadowcast Uncut, Into the Realm, Beer and Bolters 40K, Plastic Fanatics, Stasis Lock, Toy Detox, Breaking the Mold, Building Up to It, and Fresh Communication. And shout out to the rest of they are cool people on the Nerd Rage team. We have Maryland Phil on Twitter, Raul on Instagram. We got Dante on Facebook. We got Manny sending me useful information that I can't find the time to fucking get through.
Because you're useless.
Because I'm useless. And I think that's everybody. I think that's it. We have a lot of questions. We just ran out of time.
Next week.
And we'll get to it, guys. But until then, great tits.
Happy labius.
Tight dick player.